All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Bangin Brass Podcast. This is our second try. Apparently, the audio is being a little fucky. So we'll give it another go. Hopefully, it's going to work. There we go. Brian, let me know if my audio is okay and it's matching the video all right. Hopkins is in. Hopkins, you do the same. Somebody let me know if it's working good now. All right, here we go. Should have. All right, sync success. Here we go. That's better. I don't know how it's going to work when I put it into the audio version of the podcast, but we'll see. What's up, dude?
Hey, I'm back.
You're back. All right, there we go.
There is a distinct difference between what Instagram does with like singular person audio and multiple people audio. It does sound really weird when it transitions to more than one person, but here I am. Welcome back, everybody.
Yep. So if anyone wants to join in at any point and just talk about whatever's on your mind, give us a shot. But anyway, in the meantime, we'll talk about Area 3. So I thought it was a great match. Now, I do miss having a match in the middle of the season that is a little fucky as far as, all the circusy stuff. But if I'm going to replay, because it is fun, it is, I enjoyed it. Me personally, but I like to.
I'm going to stop you. I'm going to stop you for a second. Is your phone connected to a cell tower instead of your Wi-Fi?
No, it's on my Wi-Fi. Why?
Oh, because you're lagging. I think that's why you were sounding bad the first time, is because you were lagging real bad.
Is it still lagging? Or is it just lagging on your
voice, but your mouth ain't moving.
I wonder what's going on, because I have good Wi-Fi.
When I do these, I actually turn my phone into airplane mode. That way it only uses my Wi-Fi.
Oh.
You gotta be careful. If you're using like an Android or something, turning it to airplane mode will also turn off your Wi-Fi by default. So.
All right. Well, my Wi-Fi is still connected. So is it working better?
Yeah, you're actually moving around while you're talking. That's impressive.
All right, cool.
Yeah, it's so much better. Yeah, dude, this app is whack. It'll pull from whatever it wants to get its best stuff. So, yeah. Whatever it thinks the best signal is in the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah,
well,
so
hopefully.
Area 3 was a good match. Tell me more. I didn't get to go, so tell me more.
Well, that's because you suck at life. But dude, it was a great stages. So all IPSC targets, which I'm personally a fan of. I like IPSC targets. Great blend of long, medium, short course, challenging, bunch of ways to run all the different stages, and it was pretty good.
You know what I noticed? There's a lot more medium and short courses these days since ammo became hard to come by. Have you noticed that? Yeah. Ever since primers and everything everybody was like, you know what, maybe we should throw a couple short courses in here. How about a medium course for 12?
Which I'm a fan of. I like medium courses. The short courses make it interesting. Sucks if you have any type of malfunction. You're basically boned on that stage.
Yeah, you eat those points.
Yeah, I ate some points on the first day due to a 1 cent shock buff. Lovely. But other than that, I was pretty happy with my shooting. But dude, great fucking match. Staff were great. It was ran well. Stages were great. It flowed good. You didn't get to a stage and just go, well, this stage fucking sucks. You know what I mean? You didn't get to any position in the stage where you went, fuck. This is a dumb place to put that target.
We were both at Trident. So did you already talk about Trident with anybody?
I did not talk about Trident, I don't think.
The benefit match up in Maine. I know you remember, but I'm letting everybody else know.
Yeah. I don't remember if I spoke about that or not on the podcast. I say a lot of dumb shit on here, so once it comes out of my mouth, I completely forget about it.
That's all right. It was a lot of fun. You guys, you left your jersey in my booth, which is,
I did. I'm worried about the shape it's going to come back in.
Oh, I only wore it to the gym a few times. It's going to be okay.
I have a feeling you did more than just wear it to the gym.
Well, all of my other shirts were standing up in the corner, so I couldn't let yours feel alone.
Yeah. I'm gonna definitely. It's gonna get washed with some OxyClean when it gets back. I can tell
Actually,
you that.
I took it, and I was like, hey, babe, and I showed it to my wife. I was like, here, smell this, and she's like, I don't know if this is a trick or not. And I wafted it, and she's like, oh, that's a lot of cologne.
Hey, bro, I gotta smell good for the boys.
Yeah, you definitely smelled good for the boys. You know what though?
Oh man.
Trident, I got to shoot with the Williams sisters, and I've been to a lot of major matches this year, but that was like I had a lot of fun shooting with those kids. They were well, one of them's still a kid, I guess, but I had a lot of fun shooting with them and Rob, and it was like one of the more enjoyable and just relaxed matches I've had in a while. So it was a good time.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. It was the whole match just felt super well done. It flowed great. People were nice.
They're
you just felt a little more,
ridiculously nice.
yeah, overly nice. But I liked Trident. I will go back. I mean, I know it's not like an area match, but that is one match I will travel all the way to Maine for every year.
Yeah. Plus, it's right there in the backyard of Atlas, and they do all their stuff with that match. So they raise money for a pretty good cause for those of you that don't know anything about it. So
yeah, it's really cool. They this year was for what was the name of that charity? Canines for Veterans, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, they usually do two. I remember my memory is shot right now, but I remember last year they did one where it was like
now.
Yeah, well, I put on an idea where I've been putting on some weight, and I was like, you know what? I was like, I need to calm this down. I was like, I need to stop drinking. And I said, hold up, there needs to be rules because that's not right. And I was like, well, I won't drink unless I'm camping because it's rum is kind of a requirement for camping anyway. So
are you camping right now?
No, but I'm on this podcast, so I decided I need to make an addendum to that. So I brought out my liquid swear jar. So
yeah, I got I got mine too. I'm gonna be swearing a lot when these assholes play this season. I can tell you that.
Oh, that's good stuff. Yeah, it's been sitting in the freezer.
Yeah, that's delicious. But yeah, every dollar raised for the most part goes to support some type of charity for veterans for the Trident Armory match. So if you want to shoot a good match with good people and you want to give back, definitely do it. They have great raffles, dude. They raffled off a bunch of really cool stuff. I mean, guns, presses, gear, everything. So
primers,
definitely, yeah, primers. They did, yeah. I can only imagine how much money they made on that.
Well,
somebody should just put a pallet of primers and say, "Let's do it."
Something I do want to mention about the Trident matches, the staff give a lot more than what you normally expect for that match. Like they didn't like if you saw staff in a jersey, they actually bought their own jerseys this year. So we gave them, so they really try to do everything they can for the charities that they're donating to. So it's really cool. I like what those guys do. So that's why I drive all the way up to freaking Maine. Ooh, that sucks.
It's not that far from you. I came from Texas. Fuck out of here.
You flew in.
I had to fly 2 hours away and then drive into that, which is like the same as going to Area 3 basically, but
2 hours, no.
Shut your dirty whore mouth.
That's adorable. 2 hours is a long time.
We gotta start bringing people in here. Who should we get in here?
Just whoever. Just grab some. Just start inviting people and see who bites.
That's what we're gonna do. Aaron can't do it because he's in the Army and they don't like. I have to approve it to get him on here with the Army. I did that with them already. It was
surprised
ahead of time.
I'm surprised we haven't seen any questions in the comments yet.
I know. I don't know what's going on.
It's different. It's different. I fully
Yeah.
expect this. I fully expected this to go into the realm of the current drama.
Listen,
Drama's the right.
I thought it would already be downhill. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, this has already taken longer than I thought it would. I definitely pre-gamed this with alcohol way too much.
Yeah, I did too. I was like, I got to be drunk for this. Oh man, I tried to get Hopkins in here to talk about Area 3, but he's not liking it here. I don't know. It said he's not able to join.
Oh, well, maybe he's sitting on a toilet somewhere.
Hey, there we go. I'm looking at your feet. Hey, there we
What's
go,
up?
buddy.
Hey, man.
What's up, dude?
Oh,
how's it going?
He's not on a toilet. He's on a casting couch. So that's what the problem
That's right.
is.
That's the actual couch. He purchased it at auction.
That's not creepy at all.
So, Matt, we were just talking about Area 3, man. You did a really good job at that. I was severely impressed. Like, I loved that match.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It took a lot of work, so I expected an amount of work, but then it was a next level above that. So,
yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'll ever put on a match just because of every time I've talked to the match director that's put on the match, they're like, it was great, but I've never been more stressed out. And I'm like, woo!
it was. There was a point where I was like, okay, I'm done. We're going to handle it on the ground and just get it done there. Because we really had 5 full days of setup to do that. So arranging like the lunch and stuff for Sunday, I didn't have that figured out till I got on the ground. The caterer that came in on Thursday, Friday, Saturday wasn't able to be out there Sunday, so I had to figure that out on the ground at the match.
Oh,
turned out
shit.
okay. Yeah.
It
turned out okay.
When did you find out
little
that
curveball.
the caterer wasn't going to be there?
A couple weeks before that, but I couldn't really plan on anything, and I didn't know of anybody that could do it. So we just basically went to Hy-Vee, got box lunches for everybody that was going to be there, and it actually turned out really well.
Yeah, I mean, the whole match as a whole, I enjoyed. I mean, the staff were great. Everything flowed. We didn't get bottlenecked at any point, which Area 3 is famous for some bottlenecking in the past, which is probably due to all the crazy shit. But this whole match flow, I mean, we weren't waiting on anybody. No one was waiting on us. It seemed like every time we got done, their last shooter was shooting. Every time our last shooter was shooting, people were walking up. It just kept flowing. Boom, 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 boom. And the stages were awesome. I didn't walk up to one stage and go, I wish this wasn't in this match. Well, which has never happened at an area. I've never shot an area match and went, I thought every stage was great.
So there was a couple things about stages that I would improve upon if I do this again. Like, I think it was 7 and 8. They were pretty close, pretty similar looking stages. The start position was different. So one was unloaded in the back right, one was loaded up in the middle. So they shot differently, but the stage layout and everything on it was basically the same, different swingers and different target arrays and everything like that. So I would improve upon that on if I ever do it again. So.
If you ever do it again,
if I ever do it again,
already phoning it in? Well, I guess you're in Area 6 now, right? So
yeah.
Well, hell, their match director just got bumped to what is it called? Managing
director.
Yeah.
So there you go. Be the match director for Area 6 because
I'll do it.
Would be you should because
I do it. I need to start like right now though.
Yeah.
Well, get on it.
I'm actually probably a little behind, honestly, if we do it in the spring of next year.
Yeah, I wonder.
Yeah, because Area 6 happens pretty quick.
Well, no, yeah, because they do it early in the spring, so
it's like in April. So
I wonder if she's planning on still doing that while she's doing managing director.
I don't know. I haven't heard. I know they haven't solidified the dates. They announced them, then they moved them, then they said, "Hold on, we're gonna finalize the dates," and that's when she was announced as managing director. So I don't even think they've got the dates figured out yet.
Probably depends on how much bullshit she's dealing with at the time as managing director. She may be like, you know what, I'm going back to Area 6.
Oh, come
But
on.
yeah, it
It
was.
can't be that bad.
Yeah, there's not enough money to get me to do that job. I'll tell you that right now. Yeah, so I guess she posted for a call for stages. So maybe she is. I don't know.
Well, yeah, maybe that's yeah. Because I mean, she's already committed to having done it. I mean, for me, if I was doing it and I got called up on another gig, I would do my best to make sure that I still did what I said I was going to do and be there for the match. So.
Yeah, for sure. Tom Castro, what's up, dude?
Oh my God, it's Tommy Boy.
I'm glad you let me on now. I want to ask Hopkins a couple questions about the big match.
Oh my God,
Okay.
your audio
All right.
is so
it's a
bad.
it's a good thing, man. From what I've seen, the match looked really great. I wish I could have made it. Work actually took over this time, so I didn't make it. How long did it take you to prep, like get ready for that match? Like your time frame, was it 8 months, 6 months? I mean, how long were you doing that?
So as soon as I got elected, I started doing it, and that was last August. So it was a 1 year. Now I didn't spend the same amount of time I did 2 weeks before the match, where I was putting 4 hours a day in after work to get the match book and get everything finalized, make sure everything's good. Having weekly calls with the new Area 3 director and the RM and the stats guy. Like, I didn't spend all that time. I was doing something the entire time since August.
Yeah. Because I talked to, excuse me, I talked to Todd Holmes about South Carolina, and it was, I think his first run at that match was 8 months. This year, he's going full 12 months into, I mean, it's just, there's so much detail and stuff. And I've run a local match, and for me, it's like, all right, cool, like show up, throw some shit on the ground, but I'm just like, a year of planning, and you don't get paid. Like, I just,
Well, that's the thing.
Like, I don't think people realize that how much you do just to put on a match, and then you get zero money.
Yeah.
And half the time you don't even get a thank you.
That's a big one.
Well, all right. So if you don't get a thank you, that's on you, because I made it a point to go around and, like, while the match was on, go around and, walk up to a squad wall and the people that are standing back watching and be like, hey, what do you guys think about the match? What do you think we could do better on? And just listen to what they have to say and sit there and, like, and then like, oh man, this is so great. Thank you. This stage was awesome. That stage blows. Why did you do that with that target? But otherwise, I'm really having a good time. I'm like, awesome, dude. So if you didn't actually talk to anybody, you'll miss out on the thank yous for sure.
No, I don't think. I think every other stage, either the MD or one of the stats guys or Matt was up there asking us how the stages were. So I mean, it was pretty.
Good. Yeah,
it was pretty.
Yeah,
often.
I definitely went around and talked to people, and I wanted to hear feedback. And I know Mike definitely went around and talked to people, and I think he was really interested to see how the stages were like compared to previous years, because it was so different. So he asked a lot of people about that. So
what was your biggest takeaway from I was just going to say, what was your biggest takeaway from the feedback? What did you get that was the biggest thing?
So I don't know. I sent a survey out, and I got like 150, 180 results back from it. So I'm compiling all them together. Couple big things I would do. I would request or try to find someone to, like, put in charge of certain things. So Andrew, like the stats guy, took care of all the stats and registration and everything, and he took care of the shirts. But I would also try to find someone, like, to handle getting staff, like to do the stages and the coordination of the match and staff on top of that. It was actually it was too much work for one person, I think.
Staff coordinator.
Yep. Yeah, I would definitely do that. That's one of the biggest things.
Somebody asked if this changed your thoughts on how Nationals has been run for the last 3-4 years.
Well, I don't really have an opinion on that because it's hard. I've never ran a match over a level 1 until this. I've never been match director before, like anything over a level 1 local match until this match.
Well, I'd say
so. I've attended a bunch of matches.
Well,
but I haven't ever
first try and knocked it out of the park. It was great.
Well, let's adjust the question then. Compared to your preconceptions, what changed your mind about running big matches when you went into it? Like, all right, I'll start with one that like comes up. I hear it every time Nationals is run. I get DMs when reports go out. Where did all the money go?
Oh, dude, there's no money.
Every fucking time. That's all everybody wants to know. Is where did all the money go?
You can't see it, but Hopkins is wearing a giant gold chain.
Chain, yeah.
All
Right here,
kinds of
right here.
diamonds. You can't see it though. It's hidden.
I know where it is.
So
I've been in his shoes. I know where the fuck it went.
I ran this match down to basically $65 left over at the end of it. I did buy $5,000 worth of prizes for it, so if I wouldn't have done that, there would have been a surplus. The range made money, all the staff got money, all the arm got money, stats, everybody. We took care of all that, bought targets. I bought water and Gatorade and snacks for all the competitors, which a funny story about that was I originally only did that for the ROs, but the girl that was running the golf cart around just handed it out to everybody. And I'm like, oh, everybody likes that.
No.
Everybody likes it. Everybody was happy. Everybody was complimenting me. And I'm like,
bro, like,
and then I looked at our stash.
Every other stage, she was pulling up like, water, Gatorade, snacks, anybody? And I'm like, bro, this is like when I go play golf. We got the cart girl coming around. I'm a fucking fan.
It was free though,
if she starts whipping out vodka, we got some fucking shit going right now.
It was a happy coincidence, and that cost such little amount. I think we spent $800. Hornady kicked in and bought a pallet of water, so that was really helpful. And that was $200. So if I would have done it all through the match, it would have been about $1,000 and getting somebody to do that. The range provided that person to do the running back and forth. But if I was going to do anything else, like any future match, I would 100% do that all the time, no matter what.
So
it was just
So they had that.
It was a
Dragon's
convenience
Cup
thing.
as well, and it was awesome.
Yep.
That's the only
cool.
two matches I've ever seen do that, where somebody's going around like, hey, you guys need anything? I got water, I got this, I got that. And both times, like, it was almost like when that girl pulled up, the whole squad was like, yep, we're thirsty, we're hungry.
Thirst. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I need another 7 Gatorades.
Yep.
Did you learn to buy the Gatorades in the little bottles?
They didn't have them. They went to Sam's Club and bought the regular bottles, and I didn't.
No, you got to buy the little bottles.
Bills, you cheap son of a bitch. You don't even give the big bottles, you cheap bastard.
Nah, bro. Hopkins was that house that gives out the king-size bars.
That's right. Nobody goes to your house for Halloween.
Oh, no, my Halloween is lit. I'll tell you that.
You got them little bullshit paydays.
Because what happens is these guys grab a water bottle or a Gatorade bottle. They take 3 sips out of it, set it down, walk away, and then you're throwing away 7 bottles on the table every day.
That is true. That does happen a lot. So
I didn't see a lot of that, but the stage guy, the staff on the stages might have seen that. So
Matt,
I think we ended up Hornady bought a pallet, I bought a half a pallet of water, and all the Gatorade and snacks, and I think we ended up with like 5 cases of water that were left over at the end of it.
Nice.
That's actually pretty good planning. Yeah, I've seen lots of water.
It's all coincident. It's not like I pre-planned that. Like I was gonna go back and buy stuff Saturday night if I needed to.
Not even gonna take credit for anything. None of it was me, bro.
He's like, happy mistake.
Matt, what did you have like a specific? Did you design all the stages? I'll start with that. Did you design all the stages?
I did the final design on them. I took elements from other people though.
Okay.
Like stage 6 was a duplicate of stage 3, I think. No, 4 on Bay 4. So on the ground, I saw that, and once the matchbook was released, some people were saying that. So I redid stage 6 on the ground. I think it actually turned out really well. And if I was doing it again, I would redesign like 7 or 8.
Did you have a specific theme that you were going for? I mean, from what I've seen, a lot of guys said there was distance. It looked like it was an interesting, like a good mix of everything. Did you have a lot of distance mixed in? Was that kind of your goal to not, like, I didn't notice any close-up stages, which after Area 5, it's like everything just seems easier after that match now, so it doesn't matter what they put out there. But I'm just looking at, like, I was looking at the stages, like, man, they look like they had really good flow, even though there was some difficulty to, I just couldn't see all the distance because I wasn't there, obviously.
Yeah, I think so. Originally during the setup, we had the farthest target was maybe like 18 yards. I walked through the whole match after it was set up with about a day and a half left before shooting started. And I'm like, we don't have any target over 18 yards. So I added 2 targets in. I added a target in at about 23 yards, a full open IPSC. And then I moved 1 target back to like 23, 25. So
that's not far. That's nothing.
Those were the longest shots. They're IPSC targets, so they're smaller anyway.
Right.
And then I took out all the hard cover just because walking through once targets were up, I don't think it didn't need it. So I just took it out and wasn't there.
Nice.
It really,
See, I like that,
it really
though.
didn't. It
Awesome.
was the test at that match was how well can you blend the stages and make it flow. It didn't come down to, okay, this is going to be decided on a fucking tuxedo swinger at 35 yards, right?
With a no shoot.
with a no shoot, steel behind it. You know?
That one's just right there. Son of a bitch. That was me. Shut up, Bill.
Yeah, so I thought when it came to the stage design, it was very, very well done because none of the targets were hard, but which made it interesting because
They were
made
strategic.
it a better. Yeah, they were strategic, and the position and with the exception of the small stages, there was multiple really good ways to run almost every stage.
I think that's a good tip for the match directors out there. That so that's kind of how I build my stages. Like especially when I don't plan out everything. I just kind of put it out there on the ground. But when I did plan out the last match I did a 10-stage match at my local club. And so what I did is I built all the stages and then I walked them and said, okay, I need a little bit of a no shoot here. I need some distance here. Instead of me going, everything's at 10 yards, I'm going to put a bunch of no shoots up just to make it hard. No shoots don't really make it hard. They make it slower. So you have to find that strategic, like if you're going to put a no shoot up, and the way I do things is I have a fast target, 3 fast targets in a row. I might throw that no shoot in the middle and make you work. So, but I like that you said that because just walking those stages, you can improve them by just finding little things to make it better instead of just going, all right, well, this is what was on paper. It's out there. Be done.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that comes down to I designed them in SketchUp so I could go look at them basically in the shooter's view of what they would look like. And then I also put them all in a file together. So I put all 14 stages in the file in the order that they were going to be on the range, and I can look at them as an overall view to see how the stages would lay out and look against each other.
You know, that's something that's changed in the more modern times. I would say Practice Score and SketchUp completely changed the way. So when you submit your stages and they're in a 3D model and the DNRI can look at it, or the RO, the range master is looking at it, can say, yeah, okay, that's going to be fine. If you show up and you set up the stage too much different from what the 3D model looks like, they might come and slap your pecker about it. But right, back in the day when it was PowerPoint and there was just like little floating squares everywhere, you're like, yeah, okay, I guess that'll look like whatever you put it on the ground.
Well, back in your day, they painted it on the side of caves.
Dude, they used to mail them the results in an envelope. So that, like, you know.
You guys don't even know how bad it used to be. You guys are
I probably wouldn't have shot this sport. I probably wouldn't have shot the sport if I had to wait for the scores for a month. That sounds terrible. Did you win? I don't fucking know. I'll see you in a month.
Hopefully it didn't get lost in the fucking mail. They didn't have email.
The national trophy. The national trophy's folded up in this envelope. It's on its way.
You don't find out you won Nats until 2 months later when the trophy
Oh my
shows up.
god!
You're like, oh,
that's
fuck.
terrible.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. You guys.
So the swinging plates were a nice touch, Matt. Aaron,
so I did get some people said there were too many of them. There were 3 in the match.
No, there was plenty. I thought more would have been cool.
3 might have been too many.
Too many?
Stage?
No, they were all on different stages.
Okay, all right. There was somebody that had a hard time with the swinging plates.
I understand.
That was somebody who went fuck.
Listen, I saw one of the stages that had 3 no-shoots on it. You got to fix that. You can't be putting any kind of like difficulty in matches. Like, this is bullshit. What are you doing with multiple swinging steel? This is ridiculous.
I came to have fun, not to actually challenge myself.
You can tell none of those people that went to use a 5.
What did you use for the steel? Were they magnet retention or were they clip retention?
They were magnet retention from Red Stitch.
Red
Nice.
Stitch? Okay.
Yeah.
How were they?
Well.
Is the magnet the way to go?
For those, yeah. You have to
Yeah.
block off. You have to block off basically the hardcover part of it, so you only see the shootable plate.
Okay.
Because we tested it like before we started shooting, and we just shot the hardcover part and it knocked the plate off. So we're like, okay, we just moved the hardcover up. We used the 18x24 steel challenge plates in front of it, and I don't know if we had a single reshoot on them. No one said that we did, so I wasn't told that. And we used one of the plates that we've been using for 2 free state matches. So that's one of those 3 have 2 state matches and an area match on them with no issues.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
They were really they were cool. I think it would have been a little bit like this would have made it obviously too hard, but I think it would have been funny if you did like a Florida Open deal where you put a plate with a little hole through it and it swung in the hole.
Oh, dude.
Just fucking take 2 shots and you can miss.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what that is. Whoever hits it got lucky to earn those points. That's all.
You know,
Yeah,
that's coming
yeah.
from a guy with 30 rounds in a magazine, you dick.
Listen, if I'm shooting single stack, I'd be so pissed if I saw that target.
Dude,
I'd
that's
be
single
like,
stack
these
match next year.
motherfuckers.
Single stack next year.
I went to Florida Open and they had the circle steel, right? So the hole in the circle, and they had the paper target behind it. And I was like, can you guys go paint that steel? It was the hardcover in front of it. And they're like, no, we're not painting that. I was like, was it painted when you got here this morning? Like, yeah, we painted it at night. I was like, well, you're supposed to paint it now. And it turned into a whole having to call the range master over. And finally, I got the range master. He's like, yeah, okay, well, yeah, they're supposed to paint it. And he's like, why is this important to you? And I point at the revolver on my hip, and he was like, oh, right. Because they had a piece of steel behind it, so you didn't know if you hit the guard or the target if you didn't call a good shot. So
the fact you're one of those idiots that chose to shoot the worst match ever with a revolver.
I placed pretty respectively.
That's like showing up. That's like
A-class
showing up.
shooter.
No, that's like showing up to a marathon in high heels. You fucking idiot.
Trevor, don't make me go beat you with a revolver, bro.
Hey, bro, at Florida Open, you might. I mean, fuck. There's no telling what happens at that match.
All right, so I want to ask Hopkins a spicy question. I don't know if you want to answer it. You can just say no. You don't have to answer it.
Oh shit! Finally, we're 37 minutes in, Bill. Here we go.
Jesus.
So, because I can always talk to you later. It's fine. It's not a big deal. But I have a question. Why was there a rule when you moved out of Area 3 that you had to drop out of the presidency, or did you do it because of work or personal reasons? I mean, you say personal reasons, that's what it is. I'm just interested in, was it a USPSA thing when you left the area that you had, obviously you couldn't be Area 3 director, but could you be president? Could you still would have stayed in for president, or, I'm just kind of interested in what happened there.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't obviously be area director anymore. And with the new job and everything, I just wanted to really concentrate on that. So didn't really make sense to continue with the president.
No, 100% makes sense. That's what I figured. That's kind of what I figured was the answer. I just wanted to ask you because I know a lot of people talk a lot of shit. So I just figured I'd ask the source, and I figured that's what the answer was, because that kind of would be what I would do too, especially after the presidency kind of went to nothing. It's not the same position when you originally signed in, right?
Hopkins, you missed a chance to be like, no, they forced me out. You could have just spicied this whole thing up. That's what the people came for, man.
But that wouldn't have been the truth.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so how about Area 6? You going to run for Area 6?
Nope.
Yes.
You son of a bitch. Come on, you got to run for Area 6, bro. You got my vote.
Why? Dude, there's 2 people already running.
Trust me.
Plus Bruce, maybe.
Trust me. You need to run for Area 6.
You got Kyle and Ben and Bruce Wells has said he's going to run again.
Bruce is running again? Holy shit. He really doesn't expect to win the presidency.
Biden's
he
coming
said
back.
that if he's not going to win presidency, right?
Biden's coming back. Come on, you got to let him keep running. It's a life term. Area 6 director life term. You got it. No.
No way.
Let's
No
go.
way, dude.
Why would you want that job for life?
Not interested at
my
all.
God.
Let's go. Let's go. I got to try to figure out how to put my jacket on. Let's go. We got this for life.
Let's think about this.
No bicycle rides to work.
We all kind of get the idea that being area director might be easy, and there might be it might be a good thing to do. Matt's already had a peek behind the curtain. He may be saying no because he's like,
and he went
that crazy
fuck
shit.
that job.
This is the my Bruce Wells campaign button right here. 6 inches. You get DQ'd at Area 6 for 6 inches, guys. Just in case you didn't know. Do you guys know that story?
Oh man, no, I do
Dude.
not. I have a feeling it's about to get real.
All right. So
All right. We good with Area 3? I'll let someone else jump on.
I should have got high before this.
Any
All
more
right.
questions for me? Hold on, Tom.
all right.
Hey, Hopkins, are you gonna get off?
Yeah, well, if you got another question, I'll answer real quick.
Well, real quick, I just wanted to say, seriously, congratulations on Area 3. I was very impressed, and I pray that you run a match at some point in the future and bring that same level of detail and knowledge to it, because as far as area matches go, that is one of the best I've ever shot. And as far as matches go, that's one of the best I've ever shot. So congratulations, and I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Good job,
Yeah, man, it sounded really good. Sounded like you did awesome.
Thank you.
Impressed Trevor. You had him do good. I can't let it leave like that. Jesus.
Yeah, I know. Well, hey, Matt, if you want to jump off, feel free. We'll bring someone else in. I know
yeah,
you're trying to
grab
exit
somebody
before.
else.
All right. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
All right. Bye, guys.
All right. Let's bring someone else in here while you start to tell that story. Someone, hey, if you want to come on the podcast, just request to join. I've had to add 2 people already. Just jump in here. Don't be scared.
All right. So Joe Biden was running Area 6 last year.
Hey, whoa. Hold on.
Sorry.
Before we keep going, listen, my FBI agent, he's not actually talking about Joe Biden. Please don't get my Instagram kicked off.
I'm not going to. Anyways, so last year at Area 6, there was a controversial stage. There was a stage that it was stage 6, if I remember correctly, and you could lean on a wall in the front that was not intended to be leaned on. So the first 2 days the match was ran, everybody would kind of hook onto the wall with their belt and lean on that wall. Well, by day 2, it snapped. So they put a new wall up and then added a brace. So instantly the stage is different from day 1. So one of the guys that happened to be on my squad helped build that stage and knows that brace wasn't there. So he argued before he even shot the stage. Then he shoots the stage, and I can't remember if he did good or bad. I'm assuming he did bad because he, asked about the stage or whatever it was. So we finished the stage. He says, listen, this is an illegal stage. I'm thinking about arbitrating it, whatever. Made it public to whoever the staff was there, including Bruce. He was shooting PCC, puts his PCC away 45 minutes after the match. Okay. And the reason I know it was so long was because getting all of us together to do a group picture was difficult, right? As a squad. So he comes over and they DQ him because he put his PCC away too far away from the berm. So obviously we argued, whatever. So Bruce brings out a tape measure, bro, and measures how far away his cart was from the berm. It was 6 foot 6 inches is what they DQ'd him on. Now here's the next question. And this is where I kind of started to have my issues. Where's the bottom of the berm? That's the first thing, right? Because a berm is curved. So where did they measure from? 45 minutes after the match, you DQ'd a guy? That's kind of bullshit, right? Like all of a sudden now we're going to DQ the guy because, well, you're going to argue. So once you get DQ'd, you can no longer arbitrate the stage. But the best part was when the shooter kind of lost his mind a little bit and started going crazy. He wouldn't sign the DQ or sign off on the DQ. So our wonderful Area 6 director decided to stand out in front of everyone and goes, and I want you to realize how political and how much of a politician this is, because this is where I kind of lose my respect for people. You stand in front of all the people that are like looking around, and he's, well, I hate to do it, but I guess I'm going to have to be the one that approves this DQ since he won't sign it. I mean, I guess I have to. So that was kind of, I've told that story about 6 inches on the podcast, but never really told the full story. But that's kind of what you deal with, right? Like, that's the kind of stuff you're dealing with. There's an integrity issue there, in my opinion. So I don't even care how he runs Area 6 or if he does a good job as a board member. That kind of stuff like that is, I mean, you got to think how many people spend thousands of dollars doing this sport and someone gets DQ'd because of that, 6 inches. You literally, who carries a tape measure on their cart?
Well, to be fair, you have one right next to you for a podcast.
Bro, I'm a contractor. I do this shit for a living.
He's like, I haven't taken my tool belt off.
Yeah, I measure stuff for a living. That, you know, it's so you. I don't know. That's just my opinion about it. I thought it was pretty dirty. All so that a stage won't get thrown out. We talk that, you know, a lot of people's complaints about the board is that no one will or no one will say, hey, I was wrong. Okay, I was wrong. Why not just say you were wrong? The stage is messed up. We screwed up as the RO staff. We might have to throw the stage out. Yeah, it sucks, but rules are rules, right? You're going to follow the rules. I don't get it.
I was under the impression you couldn't
Somebody
arbitrate
said,
a stage that you
hold on,
shot.
real quick. Aaron said, why does your tape measure have a mark at 3 inches? Mike,
Dude, that's fully extended. Please. I don't want to come on here and boast too much, but that's fully extended. I'm well above average.
Is that from the base or the top? Is that from the base or the corner? I mean,
You got to add this. You got to add this part too. Like you got to use the smart end.
well, that does suck, and that's unfortunate, and you know, that blows. Mike, are you
Again, it didn't happen
do
to
you have
me.
me on mute while you're working? Is that what's happening right now?
Yeah, pretty much.
What's
People
up, dude?
keep coming in, so I
Tell 'em stay
I
the
jumped
fuck
on
out of
this
your
live to
office.
listen to the shit show, and then I'm still working. And you know, what's up?
Hey, how did you ever stop flexing on people with those primers you were driving around fucking town all day?
That's a weekly.
This guy sends a picture of a trailer loaded with what I can assume to be a couple $100,000 worth of primers, and he's like just kicking it, driving around town
Through
Jesus.
Vegas. There's like a 20-foot flat bin milling primers. You're supposed to enclose and protect that, but
well, it was
just a subtle flex for you, Trevor.
they're protecting it with what? Dirty scowls from the driver's
I
seat?
couldn't hear you. What'd you say?
Well, I was waiting for someone to rear end me so I could get the insurance, but
If you survived.
so what's up with this? I jumped on here, saw live, and I'm just listening to all the shit talking. What's going on? What are we doing
I
here?
don't- I don't know, man. We're just having a discussion. What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. What's on the docket? I missed Matt. I missed Area 3 for sure.
Well,
We don't
so
have
far-
a docket.
so
We're
far there's
we're
no-
flying by the seat of our pants.
Yeah. So far, there's
Yeah.
no limits.
That's always worked
Yeah.
well.
It's never gone awry. Come take
Yeah,
it.
no
one's-
It'll be awesome.
No one's whipped it out and peed while on a podcast, gotten shit faced.
I'm working on it. Okay, I'm working on it.
No, I've got like 10 minutes and then I got to be done working, so I'm hiding
Well,
in
what
my
do you want
office.
to talk about, man? What do you want to talk about?
Fuck, I mean, hey, you asked me. I don't get on these things often anymore, so what do you want to talk
Well,
about?
You requested to join. What does that say?
Swear jar.
Oh,
Swear jar.
fuck.
Nice.
How much is in there?
Not as much as when we started.
So Mike,
What's up? Hey, go ahead.
No, you go ahead first. You probably had something more
Well, I was going to
interesting.
ask about nationals, but that's kind of boring. Ask me your question, then we'll talk about nationals.
All right, I was gonna say you're doing a lot more of that PCSL. PCSL is that what it's called?
Yeah.
PCLS,
dude.
whatever.
I shot a I shot my first local last weekend. It was a lot of fun. And then, I mean, anything Max. So Max Legrand is one of our team shooters. We sponsor him. So any of his events too. So we're sponsoring all of his PCSL major matches this year. So next weekend he's got the PCC, all PCC match. And then he's got PCSL 2-gun in November. I'm looking at my calendar. And then he's got Hard as Hell in December. So we'll be part of those. And we've always sponsored him last year too, but I'm actually this year going to be shooting them. So it's a lot of fun. 2-gun's it's a rush, and his rule set, the cool thing over it compared to like UML or 3-gun is you actually fucking score the targets. So that was one of the issues I had when I used to shoot 3-gun and multi-gun, is it pissed me off because you get trash shooter just spraying 2 anywhere, and it's like not a true test of accuracy, I don't think.
So they actually are doing a hit factor?
Yeah, it's hit factor scoring, 2-gun. There's 2 divisions, practical and competition. And you're allowed to switch guns, switch gear. Like I can run a dot, and if there's a stage, I can throw my magnifier on. I can add a sling. I can take on and off as long as I stay within division rules. There's guys that'll hop guns, like they'll have a gun specifically for long range as long as it's within that division's rule. And then competition is more like all out. You could shoot like the competition division. You could decide to go pistol and PCC or pistol and rifle.
I just pictured somebody rolling up with a literal golf bag full of rifles. Like,
yeah, most people, we haven't seen that yet. It's kind of typically what guys swap is like that, like a magnifier on a rifle. Like I've like a 6-time magnifier. Yeah. Well, and it's not USPSA douches with all geared out. It's more tactical, fun. So
it's
not
tactical douches. Got it. Tactical douches versus USPSA.
But no, you have. So last year we had quite a bit of.
It's a different douche. It's not.
Yeah. We had quite a bit of
douchey.
USPSA shooters shoot it last year too. So it's kind of, if you want to play that, you can. But most people, they're not swapping guns around. But the whole point is like the divisions are made to where everyone can shoot. There's not 8 divisions. It's more test on skill set, and they can come and compare their skill set. So it's fun. It's super simple. The rules are super simple. It's actual hit factor scoring. It's fast paced. It's basically USPSA with a rifle and no politics and a pistol. So that's what's been fun so far.
Just give it time.
Yeah, give it time, right? Everything. Well, it's not an organization. It's not a non-profit organization. It's actually managed the right way. There's no fucking board of directors. If you want to know my opinion on it, there's not a bunch of clowns that have bankruptcies that have never built a business or ran a business in charge of it. We'll just put it that way. If you want to ask me, that's my opinion on it.
If I go like this on my camera, am I technically in this podcast so I don't get banned here for just listening to you? I'm just checking.
You Jesus.
I don't think I'll get banned. If it is, whatever.
It's
kind of
dropped the 6-inch story. I'm not too worried about it.
People, you got to be able to voice your opinions on it. So I mean, I agree. That's how I feel, but that really doesn't matter a whole lot. I'm just a shooter. I'm just a dickhead.
Bans inbound.
We do that to ourselves twofold, right? First fold is it's basically somebody volunteering saying, yeah, I'll do it. Because there's nobody else volunteering to do the damn job. Like this year, actually having people to vote for is really fucking interesting.
Yeah, I know.
It's usually just like, oh, that guy said he'll do it. Nobody wants to run. Nobody else wants the job. So I guess he's doing it. So yeah, we don't really, we've never in the past, well, we have in the past, but it's not been like it has been right now where we've actually got options and people to talk to and find out their opinions and qualifications.
Yeah, it'll be cool to see now that multiple people are running for president and for different positions, and maybe some things will get better. And before social media, it wasn't exposed if there was any problem. So it's light's being brought to things, and that's what happens. It's 2022. So that's the way things are going to go. And it's gone from, it's a lemonade stand to building the size of thought of as a business. So it's like got to be managed as such with the member size we have, and exposed stuff's going to get exposed, and that's the way it goes.
So are we going to start paying our board members?
No. but you still got to hold them accountable because they.
Holy shit, dude!
I would.
You just asked for like professional people to volunteer to do the job, and you're like, yeah, but we're not going to pay you. Like,
No, the organization, it's not set up. Here's why you can't pay your board members because
I know why we can't pay our board members.
Yeah.
I understand.
No. If it was properly ran, you could absolutely pay them. But it's not.
The way that we're currently organized, like we can't pay
No.
them, and unless we pay them, we're not going to get the level of professionalism that people expect. Dude,
Yeah. Well,
if I roll up to a volunteer,
it depends on your
area director, and I'm like, yo, your dick's hanging out, and he doesn't look down and then laugh at me like, do I really want that guy in the job?
Well, no, it kind of depends on the sense of pride as an individual, because there's plenty of people that volunteer for a lot of things that have self-pride in what they do, and they hold themselves to a standard regardless if it's for free, for volunteer, or for money. It's just finding those individuals that have the passion to do that and have personal standard. If they don't have personal standard and aren't doing it for passion, then why vote? That's why it's cool to see that we have people that are passionate running and can be voted in and will have pride in what they do. I get it's a volunteer thing. I would love it to be set up to be able to pay them and hold them to a standard, but some of the stuff that's been happening, it doesn't fucking matter if you're doing it for free. It's ethical issues. It's things that have nothing to do whether it's a business or a nonprofit. It doesn't make it right. Just because you say, hey, I'm a piece of shit because I volunteer, that doesn't make it right. You know that.
I wasn't saying that. We were going
but at the same point of
them being like, business professionalism, and I'm like, well, not all these guys are business.
No, I didn't mean it like personal. Yeah. Like I get the personal, like have fun and joke around, but on a structural business side of it, like you can't hold, it's in a weird position right now. It's not a hobby.
Oh, it is definitely. We're in some weird flux
it's
of
transitional.
Right. Converting or not, transitioning or not, just tucking our peckers or not. I don't know what we're doing.
I think with what's happening in now is setting up for a better future for the sport, because all this stuff comes out, right? It makes it, the people who are going to come in now, right, I think are going to be suited for what you're looking for, right?
So,
but at the same time, I think that where the line needs to be drawn is as the board members, right? They're elected, they're not getting paid, whatever. Yeah. If we want to say, hey, you fucking suck at your job,
you gotta pay them.
Perfectly acceptable. No, you can tell them like, hey, you suck as being a board member, whatever.
Yeah.
But what you can't do is attack them on a personal level, because at the end of the day, they're volunteers. They're just fucking trying to do the best they can. They may not be good for the job, but you can't talk about them on a personal level. Bring their personal life into it.
Yeah, the transition side of it is like they're volunteers, okay? And if we want to push and hold them to a higher standard, like Bill's saying, like, well, if you want to hold them to that level, then you probably got to pay them, because what's going to happen is people are going to say, when they see the social media blast, just like Matt's like, why would I run for that? You're going to have people say, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do that for free to get trashed. Like, you're going to have to pay me to deal with that. And that's the reality of the transition. It's got to go like, hey, it's either going to, not to say stay small, but it's going to be like, oh, this is a volunteer thing. Find a way to quit trashing them, or find a way to pay them. I don't know. But if it was up to me, they would be paid. And so would ROs, and so would everything. But the negative budget for the past 2-3 years, like there's no structure business-wise to afford to pay them. So it's kind of a lost, that route is not realistic.
Before we go too far deeper into the national stuff, I want to say, Bill, dude, I'll tell you, even though you're doing a really terrible job making fun and talking shit about people who got banned, and you're a terrible person for that, just so you know, like you're a terrible human being. You should absolutely be making. No, I'm just kidding, dude. You are the reason that I actually know as much as I know about the presidential election. I had to get that out there. Sorry. About the presidential election, because you actually brought everybody on. I thought that was pretty awesome, because I've been in the sport 4 years, and I think Foley was obviously the only president I knew of before now. But you bringing everybody on actually gave an opportunity to make it a legitimate election where people actually could hear what everybody said. wanted and didn't want, and so on and so forth. So I thought that was something that was great, because I don't think we've done that yet, right? I mean, again, I've only been in this for 4 years. So I thought that was awesome, man, that you did that. But you should still be talking shit. Like, keep it up. What are you doing? Like, come on, let's go. Make it personal.
So what we've got right. So this is one of the things. So when we see something going on, and there's, as far as Go Fast Don't Suck, when we see something that's going on, we'll make a determination whether or not it's going to go into legal territory, like courts and subpoenas and shit like that. And if it's going to go into that territory, we won't touch it until there's been a resolution. And we've done that with KKM, and we've done that with other people. There's stuff that's going on out there that we won't touch, because I don't want to be subpoenaed. I got my own fucking life and shit to do. I don't want to be drawn into this court battle. I don't want them saying that I'm out there disparaging them. I mean, I've got like a...
Doxing people, dude.
My phone is literally heavier from all of the memes we've created about this topic. but
It's awesome.
Unless there's a resolution to it, I can't, dude. I don't want to be with the type of people that are involved right now, and the amount of money they have. I mean, like, I can't afford to even show up to court. Like,
I think you're right. I think you're right on. Listen, the reason I brought it up is because we've communicated a little bit, but behind the scenes about it. The reason I brought it up is because I think people need to realize that you are a business owner. You are a person that can be sued. You are someone that doesn't need to get in. First of all, it doesn't really involve you. Right? Like, it's just that you're part of the sport, and a big part of the sport. So everybody expects for your voice to be heard. But at the end of the day, it's some of this stuff that there's plenty of meme makers out there right now. You don't really need to add anything to it, right?
There's a lot of anonymous accounts that are just willing to do whatever the fuck they want to do, which is beautiful. And I love them for that, but that's not me. I want people to know. But it's not
until they're not anonymous anymore.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing: is when we make them, we make them about everybody. And I know the minute that it comes out, like it could be 3 anti-board memes, and the one that's an anti-Ben meme is be the one that has everybody emailing me and calling me and writing me letters, showing up to my fucking driveway and shit. Like, I don't need that in my life right now. Let's wait until this is kind of.
It's a loyal following. Hey, before I go, I got to ask one question real quick. So some board members are on here. So with all the shitting on board members and the personal attacks and all this, it is a volunteer thing. How many of them are going to continue to rerun? So we got like Bruce 6, he'll run again. Like, will Leighton run again? So my point is, like, I get the irritation from them of being mad at members personally and putting this stuff out. They're still volunteering, right? Now they're complaint, but are they going to run? Are they going to continue, like, when they're up for re-election, or is it enough for them to be like, hey, I'm out? I think that's the breaking point for me, because everyone's crying on both sides, the board members and a lot of members. It's going back and forth, and it's like there's a lot of members, me included. I dropped out of all of nationals. I've canceled all sponsorship of USPSA, and I literally put north of $50,000 quarterly into USPSA events, and I pulled all that money, and I'll put it somewhere else because of some of the shit. So that's me now as board members. So I get fed up. I can vote with my money. You can call me a dickhead, whatever. I'll go elsewhere. But will the board members do the same thing? If they're getting harassed as much as they are getting harassed, which I get it, are they going to continue and run for re-election, or are they going to say, hey, I'm out, this isn't worth it? That's the telling point, because when I hear blah, 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 but then they stay in it.
Well, let me take it back to your point. If they're being harassed as much as they're being harassed, I would say let's fix the fucking harassment. And if
no, I get that. I'm just curious if it's as bad as like social.
If they do fix the harassment and then are willing to stay in to help try to make the sport better.
I just mean at this moment, at that point, the harassment side of it too. It's like, so like memes and stuff. I mean, I guess it's what an individual determines as what's harassing to them and the extent of it.
It's not the memes, I don't think.
Do not give a shit about the board members I talk to do not give a shit about memes. Like, I mean,
it's the back end.
They don't give a shit about that. It's the doxing, it's the calling out their personal lives, the shit that has nothing to do with the sport that people have no idea about. We literally have people that the way that they post about like legal stuff, like they think OJ's innocent. Like, there was a case.
Earth
He's
is
fucking
flat.
guilty. I'm like, well, there was never even a case. Like, what are we talking about? And I'm trying.
But to that
If the
point, Bill,
glove doesn't fit, you must quit. Period.
if
You didn't do
so,
it.
Bill, if that, my point is, so if like where we're at right now, if that like continues, say the issue of that isn't fixed and it continues the way it is, I mean, you're more connected to the board members. Do you feel like
I couldn't imagine
Bill,
them staying? I couldn't imagine them staying if they were dealing with harassment to the
like if
to
it,
the level
so that's
on a regular
to me the
basis.
gauge of like what we see on social, if harassment, if it's really that bad or not, if it's hyped up because of like people memeing or talking about it or blowing it up out of proportion is what I meant. Like, is it truly at that level that we see online?
I think that's a good point, Mike. What's harassment? Like somebody making a
That's what I
meme,
mean.
or is somebody coming to their neighborhood and driving by and stalking, or are they messaging them constantly? Are they like, so Impractical Insights had said something about one of the members went to all of his LinkedIn and liked his post. Is that harassment? Like, listen, I don't know that personal arrangement with those two and how things went, but if somebody's liking my posts and you hate my guts, you're just a fan, bro. Appreciate you. Right? Like,
Well, so that's kind of,
What
I
else
think
you
that's
gonna
the telling thing. It's like, so like Leighton, good friend, like if he's being harassed and some of the stuff that's come out, if he runs again, does that just discredit and say, hey, that it's fine? Or is it maybe it wasn't that bad, or maybe
because
his pride over it's bigger?
So
It's gotten to the
I
point.
know him. I know Leighton pretty well, and Leighton is not one to like to lose. So I don't think he would.
that's a good point. He doesn't want to quit. Yeah.
I don't think he
Well,
would
that's
let. I don't think he would let the haters, back him off that stance. Now, here's the thing. I think he's one of the good board members we have. I don't agree with everything. Me and him have had some pretty heated discussions on topics. I mean, publicly. I mean, we've talked about it on here. But now, do I think that other board members should still be around? No, I've been pretty public about that. Do I think that certain USPSA employees don't suck at their job? No, there are USPSA employees, one in particular that I've said publicly sucks at part of his fucking job. But what I won't do is bring up his personal life, because that is where I draw the line. Listen, you can hate me all you want, but once you bring my personal life into it, you may catch some hands next time I fucking see you. Because I do have a good lawyer, right?
We'll come back and talk about the harassment thing to a point. If you're dealing with harassment for a volunteer position to the point where your spouse is afraid to go home, would you say that's gone too far?
100%.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now that has happened, and this is what I'm saying. There's things that we as a community are not aware of, or not
very unaware
because
of.
it's not being made public.
So if it's a volunteer sport and it's that bad, why would you stay a board member? That's my point. Like, you're volunteering.
Why would you not fix the problem instead of
why
trying
wouldn't
to
you?
make it,
Why
would you say?
Why wouldn't you? I don't know. Get
the
rid of
victim
the
is the
people
problem.
that
Go
are
away,
doing
victim. Like, I don't
Yeah.
understand
But
what you're saying here.
But the level of harassment can continue even if you ban them. It doesn't change the harassing, right? So the harassment can still happen whether you're a member or not.
No, you're going into a different territory. Right now, they're a member of the sport. If you remove, or let's say they're a customer of the sport even, right? So if you take the customer away from being a customer of the sport, it's no longer the organization's responsibility to protect the board member. It becomes that person individually to protect himself against that other person individually.
Yeah, no, I get that.
I mean, if he's still having a problem with an individual that's no longer a member of the sport, that's his business to go take it to that level, right?
Yeah.
But as far as like staying with an organization that you were passionate enough about in the first place to try to help, to try to come in and make the sport better, and then you've got an outlier that's shitting on your personal life on a regular basis to the point that it makes your wife uncomfortable to go home. No,
Okay.
I wouldn't say it's his fucking job to quit
All
the
right,
sport.
I want to play a little devil's advocate here, because this is one of the things that is going on. One of the guys that is in question here is a paid employee. He's not a volunteer. He's a paid employee. Okay. And so that paid employee also did some pretty threatening things by driving to someone's town and asking for coffee.
Yeah,
I
I
would
That's
take
don't.
not
him
a
up on a free
volunteer.
coffee.
First of all, that's not a volunteer. That's not someone that was voted in.
No, I don't know the circumstances for all of that was
And
involved.
I
I
don't
only
either.
have
But if you
I
have
only have one
history
side
with
of that
someone,
conversation for sure because
but if you
I
have
just
history
generally
with
don't want
someone,
to.
if it took you let's just say 4 months to find this person, you have a private investigator finding this individual, and then you miraculously find out where this guy lives and you show up in his town, that's kind of questionable. And no one's actually questioning those actions. It's all on the members. The members are the pieces of shit here. And
Well,
that's a
no,
problem.
No,
No,
that's
no,
not
no.
true
What I'm
because
saying is that's what they're. Hold on a second.
I
Let me
have
clarify
said
that.
that's 100% not okay.
But let me clarify that.
If all right, hold on. If somebody drove 5 hours to my town looking for me and I'm anonymous and they text me, "Hey, I'm here. You want to have coffee?" I'm gonna say, "Yeah, let's have some coffee," and I'm gonna smack you in your fucking mouth.
I want some coffee.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Right.
We're gonna get some fucking coffee
In a gun-free
I'll tell you
zone.
that right now.
Let's go.
Gun-free zone.
Yeah.
Well,
Fine.
hey,
You're both
Mike,
gonna
so
have
go
guns
to a
there
movie
anyway.
theater. Have a sign on it. No guns. It's guaranteed.
Hey, hold on.
Yeah.
Before I got to go, but I want to clarify this with Bill. So what I was trying to get at earlier is like the individual, I don't know who it was, that their wife was uncomfortable. So I get the volunteer and the passion of the sport. My point was like, what's more, if you're threatened that hard, whether it's a member or not a member, and the cutoff line is, hey, if I no longer am on the board, this stops, is what I meant. Like, at what point do board?
Yeah.
I think if someone, area whatever, is being harassed, or Jake is being harassed and said, hey, I don't want this job anymore, I'm done, they would go to the next person to harass. That was kind of my point. At what point if the harassment can't be controlled because it's member or non-member, because some of the harassing is from non-members because they've been suspended or banned, does that board member look at it and go like, hey, I don't get paid for this and I'm fearing for my life or my wife's safety. This is no longer worth it. I don't want to be a board member. That was my, like, what's the temperature on that? I don't get that it's right. I get that it's wrong either way and stay and fix it. But the point is, like, you can ban people, kick them out. They're still going to shit on you because that's happening right now. They're still going to harass you if they want to harass you. That doesn't change anything. So my think of the harassment is like maybe that harassment's being aggressive to try to get them to remove themselves from the organization.
Let's remember, once they're banned,
Have I
they
ever-
can't show up to a
bullied?
USPSA
Seriously.
match.
I was never this extrovert in school. So have you ever been bullied?
Have I? Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to actually give them the win, do you? Nowadays.
No,
You never
nowadays
want to
everyone.
give anybody the win. So
But at what
there's going to
point?
be a lot of that too. I mean, that's an individual decision. At what point do you say, all right, I'm just completely done with this? Like, this isn't for me. Obviously, everybody thinks I'm a dirtbag, but you're only seeing it from one point of view as well, because while we've got a percentage of people that is saying, hey, you're a dirtbag, there's also a percentage of people that is like, dude, we love what you do.
Right.
Yeah.
100%. How
Well,
many
I
people
guess that's
left Foley? How many
That's what
people
I'm
were
trying to
upset
look
when
at
Foley
is
got
like,
removed?
what's the
Yep.
scaling?
A lot of people,
Yeah.
Tom. A fucking
A lot
lot
of
of people.
Yeah.
Trust me.
100%.
still got the
Okay, so
messages.
listen, to add to that point, so what's going on? What everybody disliked Foley for is actually still going on. It's still the way they handle things. They still handle things in aggressive manners. Instead of having a conversation and talking to members, it's fuck you, we're going to ban you. Fuck you, we're not changing anything. That's what you get a lot from these guys. And now I think is where you have an issue. Before, listen, there is a couple members that harass. And I'll just say, let's just say what definition of harassment is to them, because I'm going to tell you right now, if you go on a podcast, which there's a guy, I'll just say his name, fuck it, Stoger, goes on and just really doesn't like what they do. Right? So every single time that he says something about them, they're looking for a rule to get rid of him. Period. That's how it works. I've done this already on my side locally. They try to find a rule to get rid of you. So because he questions how they do things, there's a problem. Now you have a guy who, and I think his last name's Brown. I'm trying not to even get involved in a lot of this shit, but a guy who questioned the accounting, didn't say anything personal, never made a meme, literally posted a letter that was actually so well written. I was like, wow, maybe we should hire this guy to support the members. It was such a great letter that I read the whole thing. That was That's
Yeah,
a
with
lot
your
for me.
attention span, that's unheard
Dude,
of.
I'm an idiot. Right. But the fact that you have a member asking questions, say, hey, guys, look, I'm looking at this from the outside in. This doesn't look like we're going to, stay afloat if we keep going this route. And you ban him because there's questions that no one wants to answer. And I think the biggest problem with them is they will never admit they're wrong, period. Nationals, I'm not upset that Jake changed it. I think the problem is the way Jake does things or the way they do things in general. Instead of just going, hey, guys, we screwed up. They are enforcing the law now that they didn't enforce literally a month ago. So now we have to change some things. Everyone probably would have been like, you know what, man, that's smart. No one wants, but instead it's like, F you, just come. If you don't like it, don't come at all. We don't care. We've lost 2 sponsors now in this sport. We have literally 6 sponsors in our sport since I've been here for 4 years. We just lost 2 of them. I think we're doing something wrong.
So I will say,
I'm sorry, dude. It's just pissing me off. This is
I'm
stupid.
feeling bullied. This is
It's
right.
dumb.
I'm not going to leave.
space.
I'm just letting you know
Kickoff.
that I'm feeling bullied.
No, hey, Tom, I have a feeling that simply asking questions isn't the reason for the suspensions.
But that's where they start.
I will admit that Patrick is the most confusing suspension of all of them.
Yeah,
So
I don't know.
that's
I don't know the
definitely-
details. I'm just assuming there was
Because
probably
it's all-
more to that.
Because it's a member suspension and it's done in executive session, it's not something that they can talk about. And I do really hard make a point not to ask them about stuff that happens in executive session because it's inappropriate.
I do not want to be
like,
subpoenaed.
It's like asking people about, what did you do on your secret mission that you just went on? It's just inappropriate shit. You don't want to put people in a position to do something illegal and shit they're not supposed to. So, yeah.
It would just be nice to have a little more information. That's all.
It would.
And I think
I've
eventually
actually
that
gone so far as
information
to
will come out. But
I've made phone calls and I've never sent emails to the entire board. I have sent an email to the entire board. Fucking say something. And I've still got nothing. So I don't know. I wish we could hear something from them, but as a consensus, or not a consensus, but as an organization,
they need a PR person.
Well,
dude, I was just thinking that for real. They need
no,
a
they
PR
do.
firm hard.
Well, they have one, and it's media. What is media and events? That's your PR.
I literally don't care if the president comes out in fucking clown shoes and a wig and does a little dance while he tells us what's going on. That would be fucking amazing.
Well, I think the difference, so a privately owned to a member, I don't say member owned, but a member managed board of directors is most organizations like that, they expect transparency. And I think that's the wall we're running into is when there is transparency or questions asked because we're told we have a right as a member. Then when you get banned or suspended, then people are like, what the hell? So it seems like a scare tactic to hey, if I speak up, am I going to get banned? It's kind of like, why?
I want to come back. Hopkins asked in executive session, if it was done in executive session, how the names get out. The names got out because they immediately went on social media and started telling everybody to the point where I heard about 2 of them. And I sent an email or a text message to the third one. It's like, hey, do you want to talk about your suspension? He's like, how did you hear about that? I was like, I took a shot in the dark. I was like, you just confirmed it for me. Thanks. He's like, you only told 3 people. I was like, yeah, now it's 4.
So I know one of them personally. He's from my area. So, he's from my area. So I have a little information about. It's interesting as a match director because he shoots my matches. It's interesting that there's some questions that happen because he shoots in my area, whether he's at our matches or not. So my question as a match director has been this from the very beginning, because I have another co-match director that I deal with, and I've asked him, I said, so what do we do? What's the way this happens? Supposedly there's an ineligibility list. He's not on that list. So if he's not on that list, do I let him shoot? That's the thing. But if I let him shoot and I know he's banned, right? What do they do? Come for me next?
Oh, I don't know. They might come after your club.
What I would do if I were you, I would write an email and say, hey, this member's in my area. can he shoot the matches? Simple. You'll get a response, yes or no, and then just follow the rules. Simple as that.
So
it's
just show up with like a wig on under like an assumed name like Jose Rodriguez.
Oh, bro, listen, you don't want to know what he signs up under. Like,
oh Jesus, this is real.
it's not a joke. Like, he signs up under interesting names. Like, it's all stuff I can't repeat right now.
have you guys, so on a local level, have you guys had a massive amount like we have locally of people that want nothing to do with USPSA because of all this?
So, no, I talked about this the other day on my podcast. I've gone through something pretty similar to this. And luckily, I didn't let him get any farther. I just kind of walked away and just kept my mouth shut for the 2 years that I was dealing with it. The big thing, man, is don't let them take your sport away, man. The USPSA is not the board of directors. USPSA is not the president. USPSA is us, the membership. I don't do this for any of them. If this wasn't something that, if I didn't have all the friends that I have that talk about this all the time, I wouldn't have a clue this even happened. I just happen to be friends with all the guys that communicate about it and get it out in the open. No one gives a shit. Like, I literally don't give a shit. The only reason I'm talking about it is because of the bans. If they didn't ban somebody, I wouldn't care about any of this. But because of my experience with them trying to ban me, or using the ban as a threat constantly, lifetime bans, for zero reason other than being myself. I get it. You don't like me. You don't have to like me, but to ban someone because you don't like their personality.
The biggest problem.
What is it?
That's understandable.
You won't stop
Just
yelling
kidding.
is the biggest problem right now.
Dude,
the
the
comments are just surprised you have friends, it looks like.
That's all right, man. It's cool. And actually, you know what's funny? That son of a bitch is one of my friends. At least he used to be.
I know. No,
what about clubs, though? Like,
I've
heard clubs, like, not. I mean, we see it around here, like.
Is his audio as bad for you as it is for me?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Sorry, bro. You got broken up.
Yeah. He gone. Anyway, in the meantime, Tom, you got to remember these are temporary suspensions at the moment. They have a chance
do hip
to
factor.
appeal it.
I don't think he knows that he's not really on.
Yeah, because his internet sucks.
Well, he jumped in his car to go where he had to go, and then, that's his passion zone.
That's actually very true. Sam is 100% correct right there. If normal conversation, I'm good. You start getting me into this subject, I get a little crazy. It drives me nuts. I get super pissed about it.
Well,
so,
all right, who wants to come in next?
Don't get me wrong. I'm just like trying to have a good evening. Like,
oh shit,
I haven't had this
Ben
much
Berry
in a long time.
Ben Berry requested to come in.
Okay.
So will that get us all banned?
I don't know.
Well, he's running for Area 6. It'd be interesting to see what he wants to do.
Yeah, let's bring him in. I've never actually spoke to Ben Berry.
Me neither. Bill, what area are you in?
I'm in Area 8. Oh,
Area 8? Oh, okay.
I had to think about that, didn't I?
Are you shooting? Are you shooting a match? You shooting Area 8?
Oh, yeah, I'll be there with the booth and everything. And Area
nice.
7. So
okay, cool. I'm coming up. I'm coming up for Area 8. It'll be the first time I've been there.
What area?
So,
come check me out in the booth.
All right, yeah, for sure. Area 8.
I don't know if I'm doing that one or not. When is it?
Next weekend. Next weekend.
Then no, right. I'm definitely not.
So then you're not doing
let's just say he's a no-show for that one. We'll DNF in a couple stages.
Yeah. I'm there in spirit, bro. Ben Berry, welcome to the podcast, man.
Thank you.
I see you've chosen. It looks like you've chosen a similar color for your wall as I have. Very nice options there. I like
yeah.
Same decorator.
It's nice to finally meet my my brother from another mother who had to deal with the same issue I dealt with. What's up, dog?
Not much. I keep thinking, we need one of us needs to come on the other's podcast. But I was actually supposed to be recording a podcast tonight, but I saw this was happening, so I figured I'd come kick it live with you guys.
Yeah, well, why not? Let's stir some shit.
We're gonna
be professional, Ben. Ben, be the professional one here, because none of us are.
That's the thing. People expect me to be the shit stirrer, but I'm really not. I'm like, people ask me questions, I'm just like, here's the answer. I don't.
don't have time for your nonsense.
I mean, yeah, it's a lot quicker just to give people the answer and then they go away. But
well, Ben, what's your thoughts on this whole thing on the suspensions? Let's start there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think exceptional actions require exceptional evidence, right? Like, clearly the membership, at least some fraction of the membership, is alarmed and thinks that this was done without justification. And Bill, to your point, it's like the board, if they really feel like this was justified, they need to show some receipts. Like, there needs to be some kind of, hey, like, it wasn't just memes. It was like, people, like, what was it? Like, because what it looks like, perception is reality. What it looks like is basically saying mean stuff on the internet got the current world champion banned from the sport and unable to go defend the world title.
I gotta say something on that topic right there.
Well, that may be the case. But I'm saying the perception is.
No. I don't care about the perception. I just want to put this out there because I don't think this is important to the conversation. I don't care what your skill level is. If there's a legitimate ban reason, I don't care what your skill level is. So I will stop bringing up anybody's classification, anybody's skill level. If they're being a problem and it's proven that they're, proven as far as in this sport, the board has to prove it to themselves, basically. But no, I actually totally agree. Yeah, and I think that's something I get tarred with, and in fact, I made a joke of it with these Team Elitist GM shirts that I had made, because everybody says that all I care about is the elite GMs. And
GMs are a bunch of pieces of shit, isn't that right, Tom?
You can't make anything but master. Only the low masters talk shit about GMs. I'll tell you what.
So like,
one of my
you're just so
let me finish my. But like one of my things is like I'm
that is true, Bill. Fuck you.
I'm a vocal proponent of having your match staffed in such a way that competitors don't have to paste and reset. By the way, the North Carolina section is running that way. Still slots open, third week in September. So sign up and come shoot, and you will not touch a paster or a piece of steel the whole time. But the thing is, like, people think. What's that?
Which match is that?
I went last year. I'll be there again this year.
North Carolina. Are you doing our stats?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
When's North Carolina? Don't say next weekend.
You're not going to it anyway, so just stop asking.
Shut up, Tom. When is it, Ben?
Third week in September. So it'll be, I don't have the exact date in front of me, but it's you can shoot Saturday AM, Saturday PM, or all day Sunday, and it'll be 9 stages, half day. You're basically shooting a stage every 25 minutes because we can reset things really efficiently when we have dedicated people. But the point is, like, people think that I do that because, like, I'm some pampered GM. Except I work the state match every year anyway. Like, I'm usually one of the ones doing the resetting. I think that having that as a service to people who pay a match fee is good for everyone from D class all the way up to GM. The argument could be made that, like, a GM actually needs less time to get prepared, whereas, like, a B class guy could use the break to, sit down, drink some Gatorade, like, and visualize his stage plan an extra few times. So it's like I feel like there's this perception of me as, like, Team Elitist GM, but it was a joke. Like, the point is, we want these things for the sport because it's good for the sport, not because it's just good for the top 3% of the sport.
Yeah.
So anyway, that I just wanted to finish that thought. But
the self resetting thing is really different, and it's nice. And even Ben, when he did a level 2, right? He did a level 2 with somebody.
Yeah.
So when they did it, they experimented with doing resetting differently, as far as, like, having you reset for 2 or 3 shooters after you shoot, and then just fuck off, right?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, and I think it's great that we're trying that, and I think it would be awesome. I don't know that our current how do I describe them? Our current experience in life people are
Carolina Classic?
Yeah,
that's it, buddy.
Yeah.
All right. It's the weekend before Area 4, so that'd be a good tune-up.
A lot of our legacy shooters
look at the stages
that are
too.
ROs
Posted on Practice Score.
Will have the capacity to reset stages. I've been to Area 6, and this year and Carolina Classic last year. You guys have a lot of ROs, a lot of younger ROs too.
Yes, I was just going to say that. Yes.
Yeah, most matches I've been to are not that age range for a majority of the staff.
But here's the thing: like that was built up over years, and that's from cultivating the people around us and taking care of the staff. I've had guys work nationals and say, "I'm never working nationals again, but I'll work for you guys anytime." I had a guy go to another state match at an adjacent state, and the staff literally were told that their prize table was getting to pick over what was left when all the competitors had picked it off. Like, when you treat your staff that way, they don't come back.
No.
But like at the section, like in North Carolina, like we've always tried to treat people right. And so we get people eager to come back and help. And I think like that's why it's so exciting, is like the people pacing and resetting, there's a real esprit de corps. Like, people enjoy it. They feel like they're really putting on something. Like, as North Carolina, we are putting our best foot forward. And to be fair, South Carolina and Georgia do the same thing. And it's like, you go and you feel like people are pulling together, right? It's not this thing where you're just trying to make sure that everything gets pasted, but you're not having to walk down range too many times. It's like everything runs smoothly. You can have complicated movers and stuff, and they always get set right because you've got the same people resetting them. But anyway, yeah, it definitely, like, you got to take care of your staff for sure.
Can I ask you a question about the prize table thing?
Yell at us about it.
Yeah, I'm not passionate about prize table. I'm not that passionate about prize table, so it's okay. I'll keep my voice down. Do you feel like it's fair? I know this is a really tough question or a tough answer because it's for everybody. But how do you feel about the people that put so much into the sport, the competitors? There's no match without the competitors, and then they don't get any prizes, but the staff has a chance at 30 guns. Like, so for me at Area 6 this year, the staff had a very nice day or night, which they should. They worked hard. This isn't against ROs. I'm just asking. And competitors got nothing, right? Nothing. So my question is you have to kind of split that up. Yes. It just feels like when the matches that do staff really well on staff do terrible for the shooters. And then the ones that do really good for shooters do really bad with staff. And I know you have to split it up somehow, but I mean, it just seems like, I don't do this for prizes or trophies, but it's just like, good Lord, man, there's a lot of guys that do this for trophies and shit.
I don't do this for prizes, but where the fuck is my gun?
No, and it's not even about me, dude. I'm not winning anything. All the guys are kicking my ass. I lost you know what I'm saying? It's just, I'm asking because as a regular, I see other shooters that their goal is the trophy, right? And then when you have one less shooter, so let's just, like nationals last year, there was so many B-class PCC guys, and my buddy took third and didn't get a trophy because it was one shooter short. I was like, you paid $300 for this and didn't get a damn third place trophy? I mean, I get it. And this isn't even a participation trophy.
Dude, hold on. Did you say B-class third place?
Third B-class?
Yeah, I want that trophy anyway, man.
Some people do, though. Listen, some people do.
They're setting their standards so low.
Well, maybe that's a very high finish for his standards.
Back to your
I mean, I think if you're optimizing to win your class at any kind of big match, then you're probably sandbagging, right? Because you're like just on that level of tipping over. Yeah. And so, like, I've known guys where it's like, no, I don't want to shoot too good on classifiers because I want to win B class at nationals or whatever. And I'm just like, that has made zero sense to me ever. Like, overalls, all that matters to me.
Let's strive for top 20. Let's strive for top 10. Let's try
but that's an integrity thing. That's not my question. My question is, how do you feel about splitting up those prizes, especially if you're going to be Area 6 director, if you're running? These are the things that, like, this is the stuff that people ask, right? Like,
it's a great question. Can I? Yeah. Okay. So I mean, the way that North Carolina has run it, and which I think has worked out pretty well, is we don't buy any prizes. The prizes are just whatever product is sent in by sponsors as their form of sponsorship. And that depend, like, in years where that's been more, like 2019, literally just a straight 20% of that was carved off, and that's what the staff got to. They got to walk. Literally, it was random draw. You get to walk the prize table, The first person got to pick first pick, but there were prizes for everybody. That's the way it was done in 2019. Last few years with COVID, sponsors have been, fewer and far between and a little stingier. And so I think, to me, staff does not necessarily want like some $30 widget. I like what we would much rather do is pay for a nice meal, have the check that they get be slightly bigger, put them in a nicer hotel. Like those are the things that to me, it's put the prizes, whatever the sponsors send. Yeah, maybe if you have enough, you carve off, a fifth of them, and that's the staff prize table. But at the end of the day, if you're spending money on prizes, this is just my personal opinion. I would just either A, pay some of that back to the staff, or B, bring prize purses back. Like I think it's kind of crazy.
There's a tax reason a lot of places don't do that.
Okay, I'll believe it. Like this is I'm still in
the
campaigning optimistic phase.
I like Shrek's idea.
Strippers.
See.
Yeah. So what did you say, Goober?
He said strippers.
All right,
But yeah, to me, like this whole
and
having a big prize, like buying a bunch of guns as prizes, to me is ridiculous. Like I would much rather every person on the staff get something decent than like 1 out of 10 people win a gun. Like I'd rather give everybody something worth $50 than 1 out of 10 people a $500 gun.
I gave away a yeet cannon one year. All right. So from a broader perspective on this is, who do we have for range masters? We have volunteers that are being replaced on almost a 2 regular basis because the other match director, because the other match director is getting burned the fuck out. And he's like, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. He's like, I'm not doing it next year. And they're like, oh, okay. And they don't think ahead to have somebody else come in and learn how he's been doing it. So you have a lot of knowledge lost each time. Or somebody comes in and like, oh, I have a different idea how I want to handle this. And they go to one extreme or the other. So you end up in a situation, which is unfortunately kind of a regular cycle, right? Where you have somebody that comes in, tries something new, it fails. So they go and they kind of find a better middle ground but they've lost the customers from the previous year. So they don't come back and see that it's been better. And
are you saying this is what's happened in North Carolina, or is this like in other states?
I said broader. So we're talking in a broader, much larger, across the nation match directing. People come in and out of match directing on a regular basis. North Carolina has much different circumstances. We have, let's see, Area 8. Since I've left, we're now, in the last 4 years, we've had 4 match directors. Different match directors? Hold on. No, we had me, Lynn, what's the Asian guy? I'll remember later.
Didn't you run
Keanu? Right,
Keanu. Ran last year?
And then
so bummed I missed that match. That looked like a ridiculous match.
4 years, we've had 4 different match directors. Is that right? I think that's right. 18, 19, 22. So yeah. So so you have people coming in and trying new things, and it's what worked or what didn't work. Are you brand new at this, or did you do a level 2? Because there's no prerequisite. So we're having a lot of problems with any kind of consistency with any of that. Because you got people that go to Area 3 in the previous years and was like, oh yeah, I love the fucking tunnel of dildos. And you got other people that go in this year and are like, oh, this was a professional match. I love the way this was done. And the guys are like, where's my tunnel of dildos? Like, it's and I'm talking about stage design there, but it's just so, it changes so much. Because I don't know how long you've been in the sport, bro, but these guys have only been here for a few years, so they don't really know.
So I joined in 2013, and literally the first year I worked the state match because it made more sense to do it that way. But I mean, I'll be honest, that sounds like the guy. To me, the buck stops with the area director in terms of choosing someone to run the match who is going to either have people to help them or has experience themselves. And so
I was talking on
like the area 8 director,
level 2s, level 3s. Carolina Classic is a level 2, so I was talking level 2s, level 3s.
Everybody's wanting to know where the tunnel of dildos was.
Was that Area 3 where they had?
Yeah, it was
It was
all
Area
the
3. It was a bunch of pool noodles.
the old pool
yeah.
noodle. Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah,
That
No,
was the
I mean,
year,
but-
but that was the
just-
year before I got into the sport. I think 2018, I think, or whenever.
just
And
go to
I missed out on that. I was so upset. That would have been fun.
lemonparty.org. They still have pictures of the tunnel of dildos.
Oh, not falling for that twice.
Twice.
but no, I mean, Bill, you're exactly right. And like this is a problem with the sport is the lack of continuity, and unfortunately, that's a very grassroots problem. Like that's not something that can be sort of fixed overnight. Ultimately, yes, as much as is possible, you want people if they are starting to feel burned out, it's like, hey, can you, or if you're taking over a match, and the last guy kind of rage quit or whatever, like if you can say, hey man, can we just like get dinner? Can you help walk me through some things? Just try and be that bridge. But I mean, at the end of the day, in that sense, I mean, it definitely is a volunteer sport, but
It is
yeah,
tough doing that, by the way. I have been on both sides of that. I've been the brand new match director that unfortunately sent so many fucking text messages to the guy. Like I was emailing and calling him on a regular basis, and it wasn't until somebody else I was helping them run their first major, and I called him up. I was like, bro, I am so sorry for what I did to you those years ago. He's like, you know what? I'm just gonna say I appreciate it now. He was totally on the same level as me. Like, wow, that was a lot of text messages in one day.
So Bill, since you've done this, other than your sexual harassment of that poor guy in the tunnel of dildos, how did you find someone to help you? Like,
I did my best, man. Look, it was one of these circumstances where I said, look, I'm doing it this year. And this was months before this match was over. I plan on doing it next year as long as you'll have me. And he says, oh, fuck yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm not doing it anymore after that. Let's get find somebody that wants to come and do it. Be the match director. I will train them. And we put feelers out. We tried to get somebody that wanted to be the match director. Unfortunately, the knowledge transfer wasn't what I was hoping it would be. I don't know. It was so the person that volunteered to do was Lynn Kasich, and it wasn't to the level, like she had her own ideas of what she wanted to do, which is fantastic.
Right.
But I wasn't able to put enough of the load onto her to show her what it was that I was doing. And I don't know honestly, I think it was like a failing of mine, like not wanting to let my last year of doing it go too much. And I don't think I transferred enough of what I was trying to accomplish for the area match at the time to her. But so USPSA used to have a program where you had to actually like the Range Master Corps, where you had to take a course to be a legitimate level 2, level 3 match director, and that's gone away. And
so
I couldn't imagine us having nearly as many matches right now if match directors had to go through any kind of fucking course, though.
That's what I was going to say. Do you think they got rid of it? Do you think they got rid of it because of that? So that because people weren't volunteering because it was another class to take, or so you think that's why they ended up eliminating it?
I think they eliminated it because the sport got bigger.
Yeah.
Just like we're going through growing pains right now. I imagine at some point they were like, all right, so we went from local matches and an area match every year to now there's like everybody's wanting to do our fucking state match. We can't train this many people.
Right.
Let's see what their ideas are, and then just
Right.
fucking let it go. I don't know. I'm sure I can go back and find an old dude that can tell me what.
Hey,
Trevor's
real quick, we got to point this comment out. SamC_shooting, you win the comment battle as of right now. Ben looks like a news expert that got passed into a backroom casting couch interview. Sam,
he would have responded appropriately. Look, it's not on the monitor. He will not repeat it. He will not repeat it because it's not on the monitor.
Listen, Sam, DM me after this.
Ben is sexually harassed.
Send me your address. I'm sending you some cool shit, and I'm gonna volunteer Bill to send you some cool shit.
Listen,
too. Me and Bill.
do
are
you have
gonna hook
extra
up with some
short
shirts or
shirts?
something?
Listen, you got to send him really short shit. He's a hobbit. He's really
That's
small.
fine, bro.
So you can't send him big boy shirts and stuff. Nothing fits him. You got to like little kid shirts. That's what fits him.
Did I send somebody my
know.
socks one time?
Yes, you did. I was on the podcast when that happened.
Yeah. Listen, Ben, I'm sorry that you have got to deal with this.
I mean,
but you requested. You knew what you got yourself into.
I mean, I don't really care. Like, whatever. I mean, I'm familiar. Yeah, Timmy, I know what a casting couch is, but I don't understand like why my ceiling looks like a casting couch. Like,
No. They're saying that you look and you're acting professional, and you're in a room with us three assholes. That's
Yeah,
what they're
we're the casting
referencing.
couch. You're the interviewer. We're the casting
Yeah.
couch. You're the
This is like when the tornado hits the trailer park, and they're like, "So what happened?"
well, I was watching the race,
Watching NASCAR,
and then my double wide became a convertible.
Soon as fucking Dale Jr. was making another left turn, my goddamn roof came off. All my Busch lattes fell in the street. I'm pissed.
Hey, be careful. He's from North Carolina. You can get your ass kicked when he sees you.
Oh God, that's great.
Oh.
That is great.
Oh my God, I'm good.
Oh. Okay. Anyway, how much you pay for?
So I mean, I can take this straight back into the it's like Tom, you were saying that Hopkins should run for Area 6, and he said, well, he knew that I was running and Kyle's running, and you didn't seem happy with that answer.
Well, I don't know you. I don't know what
he's calling you out.
Oh, no, it's fine.
No,
It's
that's why I wanted to come on here.
It's good.
There are people who have listened to my podcast, but I don't have the biggest following, and I wanted to. So like, what do you? I think from everything you've said about the 6-inch thing, which is a load of horseshit, and everything else you've said about how do you run your local match, like it's much more about what your like the sport is, the members on the front line. Like I think we're generally aligned in that sense, but like, is there like what questions do you have for me? Like, what can I answer that would help you understand who I am or where I'm coming from?
I mean, what is your vision for as a board member? Because I think part of the problem that I see with being a board member in general is everyone just says, okay, I'm a board member, but they don't actually go in there and talk to their members and then take that vote that the membership behind them is asking for. Like I thought that was the whole point of board members, is they represent Area 6, Area 8, Area 3. They represent the board members. The problem is they don't represent the people that are out in here that are like saying, hey, listen, we need more support for this. We need this. Instead, they go, yeah, this is what I think, so this is what happens.
Well, the reality of that, though, Tom, is they don't have a lot of power to do anything. I think people misunderstand what a board member's role is, and it has very, very little to do with managing anything that happens within their area. They are responsible for the area match and voting on the board. I
think it's the votes that I have issues with. It's the votes.
Exactly right.
Like
that's the problem. It's the
way
vote.
The flashlights were handled.
Yes.
I mean, it's all like the Tony Cowden vote. I mean, it's all like my beef with the board and the way it was run. I mean, it's two things. One is transparency. So I know, if I am elected, I will be limited, and I'm sure I will find out the ins and outs of exactly what I can and can't say. But I think that the membership in Area 6 and with that and otherwise deserve to know more about what the board's doing, what they're thinking, and just some of the justification behind it. A great example is the I hate to say this, but the NROI podcast, or maybe it was a USPSA podcast they did with George Jones, where they basically said, hey, listen, the reason the new calibration rule was written the way that it was is that it was as similar as possible to what already existed. It was like, how can we make something better? And I was like, okay, like I can see that logic. I don't know that I would have chosen that set of trade-offs, but it at least makes more sense. It would at least make more sense than what we were told, which is just like, shut up, you're stupid if you don't like it.
Third-party audit. All right, so that's somebody that doesn't realize that there's been 2 audits last year, and
okay, but Bill, but this is the point. Is like these things either are not getting communicated to the membership, or the membership doesn't trust them.
They're just not being communicated. So here's the thing.
Hold on. Do you guys want some knowledge on this? It's
Yeah,
not.
but you're the one who gets all the inside knowledge. You're the one who like knows all this stuff.
I'm
But,
the
like,
one that tries in my best way to explain it to everybody. But it's really hard when there's a lot of people that just don't want to hear it, right? So in previous years, they have not been allowed by the administration of the organization to release financial information about it. Neither of those people that would no, there was two people involved in that. Neither of those are in the organization anymore. And now we actually have the reports that say that we had a negative budget. We didn't end up in a deficit spending, but we had a negative budget. So if you go back, you can actually look at the last few years of that, and that shit never existed before. And it's on the website, but that shit never existed before until they were able to start putting that stuff out there. And as soon as they did, and here's the worst part of it, as soon as they did, finally, everybody's like, we really want to see what the fuck is going on. And they're like, well, here's what's going on. Like, oh, and I'm like, holy shit, these guys are actually trying. They're like trying to do what you want. And then every time
that budget they released is a joke, right? Like lumping all 6 nationals together under a single line item, that's a joke. Like all of the like that the budget to run my household has more detail than that. And there's only 2 of it. Well, we got a kid now and a couple animals, but it's like that budget was, you saw the thing on Hit Factor, right? Oh, the minutes have all the details you need. It's like, no, they don't. No, and it's insulting that you think that this. It's like if you're serving someone at a table and they have like a $20 tip and they leave you 50 cents they have a $20 bill and they leave you 50 cents as a tip. It's like, just don't give me anything. Like that is it's so little that you took the effort to insult me by giving me so little. Like just don't even bother. Like,
I don't disagree that there's room to improve. I'm just trying to tell you guys where you. We just had an Area 3 match director come on and say, "Holy shit, the money that I did have all got spent." And people are like, "Well, where'd the money go?" And he's like, "It all got spent." And we're all sitting back here and we're looking at what's happened at nationals, and we're like, "Yeah, but that's not enough detail." And I'm like, "Fuck, dude! Like, what is it? What is it we really want? Like, do we want to know how much they spent on lumber? Do we
let me go on record about one thing. I think nationals should actually lose money. Like, I don't think nationals should necessarily we should not optimize nationals to turn a profit. Like, it should be the best event of the year.
Nationals literally comes out of membership money.
I know, and I'm not saying that's wrong.
But I'm 70 to 80% of the entire nationals budget is spent on staff. 70 to 80% of the entire budget is spent on staff. Right. And then you got dumb nationals like 2-gun nats, which cost just as much to run, but lose $100,000.
That's where I'm going with this is if I agree that nationals should be the best. I personally think nationals should be the best practical shooting event in the country every year. And to me, that includes, again, this is just my personal opinion. I know that I would just be one vote on the board, but like it should be the best event, the best stages, the best staff reset, the whole deal. But we can't do that 5 or 6 times a year. Like there needs
one
to be
nationals, huge event. Fuck 2-gun, fuck multi-gun. Let somebody else run multi-gun and 2-gun. PCLS is doing a great job. Let them fucking have it, right?
This all comes from a guy who doesn't shoot anything else but open. Shut your face. There's other people out there that like guns.
Hey, Tom, stop fucking yelling. I've shot more nationals this year than you have.
You know, there was an original idea to try to get as many shooting sports in the States, practical shooting sports, under the USPSA flag. Like that was like a goal, and that's that was Steel Challenge. That's why we got
which I think was a mistake. But like we are much more closely aligned with something like 3-gun than Steel Challenge. Like Steel Challenge, take almost every aspect of you.
We can't get anything.
Well, I know, but I think to me that would be a much better thing to chase. Is I actually think it is probably doable. It would require swallowing our pride, bringing in some outsiders to look at the multi-gun rule book, and I know there is work being done and revising that. I know that some of that is in play, but like I think if USPSA, right, it's not, the P doesn't stand for pistol, right, or even pistol and PCC. Right. I mean, we could be the premier sanctioning body for 3-gun. I'm not saying that's like one of my short-term goals, but like to me, there's such a demand out there for a a match where when you come across the country, you know it's going to be run by a fair rule book. I think that's more reasonable as a goal.
Yeah. So I think we do one nationals for the 2-gun and multi-gun and 3-gun crowd, and one nationals for the pistol guys. Make them a spectacle and stop running 7 nationals and losing $100,000 a fucking pop, and just make it one big event and go.
Well, how do you get all the guns in that nationals?
And see what you think.
How do you get all those guns in one nationals though? So if you've ever talked to any single person that's worked the 9 days of nationals, they'll tell you to F yourself if you ever bring up 9 days of nationals again. So I shot that match and it was exhausting. And I'm a shooter. I wasn't still somewhat new. Ask anyone, including the people who put that on. It's an impossible thing without staff.
So listen.
You're
misunderstanding.
Yeah.
I mean, one nationals, 24 stages or whatever, where you shoot it and you don't have 3 separate nationals 9 days. It's one fucking nationals.
Right. How do you get all the guns in there?
Shoot whatever gun you want to shoot, but you shoot one.
You pick your favorite gun, and that's the gun you play with.
Pick your favorite gun and go fucking shoot it.
Yeah.
You're gonna lose a lot of customers though. So trying to include every
the single stack guys who get to go win a single stack nationals, they can still win a single stack nationals. They just got to shoot single stack. You're gonna use the limited guys.
Doesn't want to shoot that? What do they want to shoot? Carry optics.
Then shoot fucking carry optics, but shoot carry optics.
Yeah, but you understand. You understand. Hold on. I want you to understand the reason why carry optics nationals has its own nationals. It has over 100 people on it. Waiting list is because it's the most popular division. So now the guys that do production have 0 chance of getting in because everybody's shooting carry optics or open or PCC. So the divisions that aren't popular now, you lose them completely. We lose a whole set of shooters because they can't get into the matches.
Okay, so let me run this by you. So this isn't like this isn't. No. So listen to this, Tom. You might find this interesting. So here's an idea, and this is just something I've been toying around with. Obviously, I would have no power to enact this, but to Trevor, to your point about a single nationals. So what if the single nationals? I've done the math before. I think it's something like you have 24 squads of 10 people each, and basically you end up having, I think, something like 400 or 500 slots because you have enough squads so you can have people cycling around. And you basically you divide that up in some way, and you have to earn a slot by either being top 16 at last year's nationals, top 3 at an area match, or winning a level 2. And so if someone wants to shoot single stack nationals, then they shoot single stack at their state match, and then they earn their slot. Right.
So Hopkins, at that point, Hopkins just said there's only 950 to 1,100 unique people shooting nationals. So you're telling me we can't have a 30 stage nationals over 4 days that'll fit 950 to 1,100 people?
That's a lot of shooters, brother. That's a dude.
Wouldn't it be fucking dope though?
So hold on. So I think carry optics nationals.
That would be cool.
I don't think there's facilities for that.
There's no facilities at all.
I mean, Cameo potentially.
It's in Grand Junction, Colorado.
Yeah.
But that's my point, Trevor. Is like have you ever been having a conversation with somebody and you say like, oh yeah, I'm going to nationals, and they're like, wow, congrats, because they assume that like it's an honor to go, right? If somebody tells you like, oh, I'm going to the CrossFit Games, you're like, damn, right? Going to nationals doesn't mean anything except you paid your match fee and they're happening. I mean, I know people get first dibs, but no match.
I think nationals should be an earned slot match to a certain extent, with a certain amount of individual slots opened up. And if you want to go shoot it, then you better be there ready to sign up. I mean, look what happens at Area 2. There's a waiting list every year. It sells out in 2 minutes, right? But
so here's the twist to this whole thing. So we kill 2 birds with 1 stone. If you don't earn your slot and you want to shoot nationals, you sign up to work it. All of a sudden, we've got B and A class up-and-comers. They didn't win their state match, but they're regular competitors. They're 20s, 30s guys, and they're now the staff for nationals instead of the people who can take a week of vacation off. And so,
Man, I think you're overestimating this younger generation of shooters that are coming into this sport, brother, because they're not workers. I'm sorry. I don't want to be disparaging and talk shit about them, but I have a lot of new people coming into my club, and a lot of them are great, but I don't see a single person picking up a hammer, showing up early, none of it. I haven't had one single person ask, hey, man, how can I help you? Not one. So, I think we're overestimating that.
This is something that happens a lot within our sport where people working in their region may not stretch out a lot to other regions and see what's going on there and see what the reality for different areas are. North Carolina, you guys have a great situation. When I talk to Yi-Min, he has a fucking awesome situation. I mean, he's fucking bone being in California, but he's got an awesome situation in his club.
But this is what I'm telling you. You make going to nationals, if you don't earn the spot, the carrot, right? People might not sign up to work their state match, but hey, I want to go shoot nationals. To Trevor's point, it's going to be a spectacle. It's going to be the biggest match of the year. And I'm not saying
if you make it a spectacle and you have it in like there are ranges that could host the nationals. We just got to find them, right, and develop them. It is what it is, right? But seriously,
you can tell you've never run a big ass match, dude.
Tom, shut up. There are ranges that have the space but don't have the equipment, is what I'm saying. There's multiple places that have the space to host the nationals but don't have the equipment.
I don't know.
There's one 5 minutes from my house. You've been there, Tom.
But they don't have even close to the amount of bays to hold nationals.
They have 35 bays, Tom. They have 35 bays right now. They've put
we don't need that.
There's two airports. Listen, there's 2 airports within 45 minutes. There's all the hotels you can possibly imagine within 5 minutes.
The nationals next to his house. That's all I'm hearing.
No, that's not even what I'm saying. But if there's a range like that in Fulshear, Texas, you don't think there's ranges like that across the United States that maybe don't have a club there right now or don't have the equipment to host nationals? Anytime I talk to people from USPSA about it, we have multiple ranges that just don't have the equipment. So we can't run it there. That's the benefit of a Colorado, of a CMP, of a Hornady, is they have the equipment. Vegas has 3 ranges that have the space and the equipment. Boom, there you go.
So CMP doesn't actually have the equipment. You understand that, right? They have a facility.
Yeah, they probably don't.
They
have a facility, whatever.
All of that equipment belongs to USPSA. Like, they literally have connexes. That shit isn't theirs.
Yeah, and I think CMP is marginal.
CMP couldn't host a big enough one, but
this is what I'm telling you, Trevor. You scale the match, like, so if you only have 400 slots, and you're trying to fill 8 divisions, obviously you're probably not going to have, a straight 50-50-50 split among the 8 divisions. You figure out some way to prorate it, but you make it so you've got the top 20 revolver shooters in the country duking it out, and the top 30 single stack guys, and the top 50 production guys, and the top 6. You figure out the ratios, but you can scale this formula to however much room you have at your range.
And make it a big deal.
1,100. I agree, but it
so
should
can
be,
we
it
talk
should be
about
an honor to be invited. Go ahead.
No, I agree with you guys. I think nationals. This is the only sport I've ever been in my life that doesn't take nationals, like make nationals, right? Like every sport I've ever been in, nationals is a big deal. There's a big tent. Your sponsors come out. They literally, I used to play paintball. They would bring out tractor trailers and open up the sides and go, hey, buy shirts. $1,100 guns. Now, I know you can't buy guns if you don't live in the state, but they can certainly sell optics, parts, you name it. Listen, they will sell it if you can put your hands on it. We don't do that in our sport. But here's one of the issues that you guys are, USPSA doesn't support the clubs. So who supports the clubs that actually make all the money for this sport? C class, B class, and A class shooters. There's not a lot of grandmasters. You want to know how I know? Because I shoot every single weekend against myself. There's not a lot of grandmasters or masters in this sport. Okay,
I'm kicking my own ass.
Yeah, I have to kick my own ass. That's the way it works. But here's the problem: when you start removing the C and D class and B class from nationals, the sport can't keep growing locally. I am 100% about performance because I spend a lot of time.
Nobody said anything about removing them, Tom. If you want to go and shoot D-class nationals, go fucking win D-class at an area match. If you want to go be a D-class national championship, go fucking do it.
No, we're not giving D-class slots. Like in my scheme. But here's the thing, Tom. Like how much does that D-class or C-class person benefit from going to nationals and shooting 20 mics or whatever?
To me, a lot, because the way I coach, you gain from experience. That's the most I've ever learned at nationals.
Would they be better served by shooting a couple of level
shoot area matches?
States, shoot area matches.
No.
Like,
so I love how so far. I just love how so far both of you have told every other shooter how they're going to get to shoot the game instead of, hey, you guys come out and play the game and have fun. It's you at this point we're dictating the sport. And to the people that actually pay for the sport.
Tom, you're over here complaining about nationals not being a big deal, but then on the flip side saying, hey, I don't want nationals to be a big deal. Do you want it to be a big deal and you got to earn your fucking way there? Or do you want it to be where anybody can just show up and shoot it?
So you can't make nationals a big deal without being an earned spot?
So...
when I play paintball, the lowest shooter in the sport got the same opportunity to go to that same trade and get the same opportunity to shoot the sport, and then they paid the same amount of money. Actually, they paid more money because the pro shooters didn't pay shit.
At a nationals paintball match, a random person can just go shoot a nationals paintball world, like a national championship in paintball.
Dude, who do you think buys the most paint? Who do you think buys the most bullets? The people trying to get better.
So the way that this was set up with our organization is that you can earn your slot, right? So you earn your slot by winning nationals the previous years or doing well in your area match. You go win outside your area, it doesn't count the same. So if you win your area match, you get. Now, what we're not paying attention to is that all of these local clubs, they're affiliates. They're not like supported by the top down because they're not part of the top. They're an affiliate. Like your local McDonald's is not a fucking part of the McDonald's organization. They're a franchise of it, right? Yeah. So all of our local clubs are franchises of USPSA. And the way that they carrot you is that if you have a lot of activity throughout the year, you can earn slots for your better shooters to go and represent you at nationals. Now, that's not always what happens. What happens is they go, hey, I got to slot the nationals from, my guy because he was like, hey, who wants this?
But the slots don't go to the clubs. They go to the section, and then the section determines how to distribute them. So it
depends on where you live.
I'm telling you that in Area 8, it goes from the section coordinator. It gets distributed to the clubs, and the clubs distribute it to their members. If you guys are doing it in different Area 6, I can't.
No, that's how we do it too. But I'm just saying the way USPSA organizes it, it is not correct to say that USPSA gives slots straight to clubs.
You're right. I misspoke there. It gets handed down to the clubs through the sections. I don't.
So do you feel like hold on.
A club like Sir Walter, right? So Sir Walter Gun Club, we have 100 people at our club match, 12 months out of the year. Obviously less with COVID and everything the last few years. But
Bill, you're such a piece of shit.
I know.
We'll get a couple of slots.
You beat me at one match recently. Don't get too high and mighty.
Was it limited? Were you shooting limited? He was shooting open.
Where?
Yeah, you beat me at Trident. That was the last win you've gotten. So
that's not a win.
Calm down.
And shooting with open.
To be fair, I basically zeroed a stage because my fucking optic just decided not to work. So I was surprised.
I want to ask you about the slot situation because I want to ask you because I run a match, and so how they do this at our area is. It's a good old boy network. They hand it out to the good old boys and their friends and so on and so forth. So let me ask you a question. Do you feel that and again, the way you guys are talking right now, it kind of concerns me when I do find a volunteer. If somebody busts their ass every single weekend and helps me build a match, do I not want to give him that slot to go to national if he wants to go?
Hold on. Let me come back. You just got done saying, oh my God, this really needs to be high class people coming to these matches.
I didn't say that. They did. Okay, not me, Ben.
Hey, let's let Ben finish what he was talking about because, y'all just stepped all over him. Fucking assholes.
You guys wanted a ditch measure about who won the last match, so I was like, whatever. Yeah. No, I mean, but so Tom, you bring up a great question, which is what is the function of national slots? Is it Is it like getting invited to like the president's circle for like the top? I mean, even there for like salesmen, right? It's the top whatever 10% of salesmen. I mean, listen, I am totally open to like listening to the membership, and if they are dramatically against this, fine. I'm just saying from where I'm sitting, I think we need to have a smaller nationals, and the way we do that, we need to have one big nationals a year, and they're just if it were possible to have a 1,100 person nationals in the world where, you know, Trevor goes when he smokes crack, like, sure, let's have everybody.
Hey. I have never smoked crack. I smoke a lot of weed, but no crack.
It's, you know, all the same to me.
That's really
but no, I mean, so Tom, this is what I'm saying is we have competing goals here, right? Do we want nationals to be a Benny that you can give out to the favorite guy that comes around to your club? Or is the point of nationals to be the biggest, best match of the year where you get to see the best come and duke it out? To me, you should be able to vicariously enjoy nationals. Obviously, the live stream coverage should be better. I would like to see like a, you know, Saul Kirsch level, obviously with modern technology, like summary of each nationals, you know, a month or two after the nationals happen, so people can kind of go back and watch and remember.
Shoot-offs.
I mean, I don't know.
Trevor has no reality of time. Trevor's matches go forever. There's no raise needed. There's no RO needed. You just go out there and you shoot, and everybody gets a shot at it.
Tom,
Ben, you've got conflicting interests here, man. You talk about wanting to listen to the membership, and the majority, and I'm talking about the majority of the membership, is not the people that are going to be able to earn slots to nationals. And if you're going to ask that majority of your membership whether or not they want nationals to be elite and remove them from the opportunity because they're C or D class, you're going to get told, no, go fuck yourself.
So that's where I think
some people are going to tell me that.
So there's a fine medium here. I think that if you're a top 20, top 30
shooter, can't be like World Shoot? Exactly, Mike.
Hold on. If you're a top 30, top, you know, whatever shooter, you earn your slot, right? And whatever those are, say there's 600 slots, right? How many divisions? We got 8. So 240 of those slots go to the guys who earned it. Well, then the rest of them open up to the public like normal. And then you've got the best guys duking it out. They earn their slot. They get to go. And then people can show up and shoot a nationals, but you got to be quick on getting your entry. I don't know.
This is going to be a huge culture change to make this happen. This is not something that's going to be solved over a podcast.
Oh, yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not, this is not like my campaign platform. Don't take this. This was just like, I've got you guys.
An idea.
Like, let me run this by you. Like, what do you guys think? Because I've kind of talked to this with like some local guys.
Yeah,
but I'm just curious to like bounce it around and
I think the idea
right now our most elite place to go perform is on the world stage, not on the national stage. And you're saying why don't we make it more?
But that's every 3 years. That's like a Cody Axon level guy.
I understand. But even if the event that you're talking about only happened every few years, that would also be a way to make what you guys are looking for to happen. I know that you're thinking it should happen like every year on a regular basis, but even if it was like, I don't know, it would be maybe call it something.
President's Cup.
What if you did a point series? Let me ask you this. What do you guys think about a point series for what you want to do? See, to me, that seems more. No, wait. So hold on, Bill. Jesus, man. So
it's something that
you want to talk about
so bad.
You want to talk about participation. We're trying to find an answer here. You want to talk about participation, right? So if guys go to a certain amount of level 2s a year area, they have to participate in their area match. I get it, Bill. I'm sorry, I'm an idiot. I'm just throwing something against the wall.
Slow down, IDPA.
But if you have, if so, nationals, the only sport, this sport is the only one that doesn't have some kind of point series to even get you to the nationals. You just go right into nationals. Is just like every other match now. It's just like every other match. It really is. There's no difference.
Somebody said, Tom, you're yelling again.
He's been yelling from the get-go.
Whatever.
I know. I know.
So
He's passionate. I like it.
He's very passionate.
I mean, I will. So you're saying have a points series to get qualified. It's not
so,
just.
so let me ask you a question. So Nationals is the best shooter at that moment, correct? Does that make him the best shooter throughout the whole year? Let's just say, like Christian Seiler is a great example. If Christian Seiler wins every match he goes to the entire year, and then, all right, let me turn my damn volume down here. There you go.
That's not going
And
to
then he
help
goes,
us.
yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So much better.
Then he goes to Nationals and he loses Nationals. Is he not the best shooter for the year, or is he just, that's it? He didn't win Nationals.
I mean, if you go to the Super Bowl and you lose the Super Bowl, but you've had a 16-0 record or whatever up to that, like, I mean,
don't disagree, but we're not talking about. I'm not talking about winning Nationals. I'm talking about just getting to Nationals, right? This point series, this will give you an opportunity to not eliminate your D class and B class shooters. They'll have an opportunity to shoot the matches and work their way into instead of the slot system that we have.
Brett Wally says, at least the IDPA makes people earn their slot at Nationals. No, they don't.
Listen, he's going to defend IDPA because that's all he's allowed to shoot. He's only defending IDPA.
He's a terrible, terrible shooter.
He's only defending IDPA because that's all he's got.
Oh, fuck.
Holy shit.
I'm sorry, Brett.
So let me back up. So Hopkins just asked something in the question about what's wrong with the current system. It's not about the current slot system per se. It's more about trying to condense the number of nationals down. And if you are only going to have, say, one big, handgun nationals for the year, how do you go about? How do you do you just make a random lottery? Because again, I'm talking about something that's 400 to 500 slots.
Well, let's talk about
you have to have some kind of system.
Reality right now is going to be whatever the slots are that your previous winners and your area winners, if they want those slots, they get them, right? And then you've got sponsored slots, which takes up actually a lot more than you would think. It takes up like a lot of Sunday. If it's a 3-day match, it takes a lot of Sunday slots for sponsored shooters because that's when they want to shoot. It's because they're sponsored. They want to shoot on Sunday when they can see everybody else's runs. And then you've got after that, you've got for nationals, you have the clubs getting the sections getting their slots and whether or not they use them. And then so let's say that was the only way that this happened, and we said, all right, so here's all of the match slots. Here, use them for your best shooters. And we send all of our best shooters, but then we're like, well, we have another 100 people that didn't turn in slots. Nobody wanted to come to my club. What happens to those slots?
You go down the list.
Well, you go. What's currently happens is it goes into open registration, and that's where those next 100 people come. Is in open
so I'm saying like you go, okay, maybe the person who won fourth at their match,
what we have right now,
second at their state match.
You could do that. Sure, that's not the way it currently works. But what I've seen is in that open registration, we have people that come out and surprise a lot of people. End up coming back the next year on a one slot from the previous year that would not have had the opportunity to get a slot otherwise. So I'm like, I'm kind of in the way I like the way it works now. I think it would be super cool if we had it was something super duper, but the way I'm looking at it, it would have to be a separate event. Like it would just, I don't know.
I think that
then what's the point of all these 17 nationals?
I think the way it currently works, whatever, fine. Lump it into one nationals, make it one big event. And just keep it how it is. Just fucking sign up or get a slot, however you want to get in. Just get in, but make the event better. I'm more worried about the event being better than I am who shoots it and how they got there. I think the event as a whole needs to be a fucking spectacle, right?
I need to sit down with you and understand what you want from the event. Like, what is your expectations? I just don't know. I'm asking.
Yeah, to me, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what spectacle means. To me, it's like it should just be the best run match. It should have the best stages. Like everything should be
as best run match, best stages,
inspiration.
Paid resetters, vendor areas, food, fucking a spectator area. Like, here's the thing: if you do a match, say you do a match in Frostproof, right? Frostproof is a bad example because nobody fucking lives out there. But say you do one in Vegas, right? Well, then you hit all the local gun shops, you hit all the local just areas around there and say, hey, in a couple months, we're having this event. Spectators can come out and watch. We're going to have X vendors set up selling stuff. We're going to have food out there. We're going to have grandstands. You can watch the best shooters in the world compete. It's a $5 entry fee, whatever, right? You're going to get spectators show up. Dude, Area 2 last year, there was spectators walking around. Like,
but
you
I
can make
think it's
it
much
happen.
more given how geographically distributed the membership is. Like, it would be much more value to the people who actually care about the sport to have a high quality like nationals live stream where you don't have to go and spectate.
Hey,
you
dude,
don't have to watch it. And when I say
I've
live
been
stream,
beating
I mean
the
like
live
YouTube.
stream for a long time.
Yeah,
and listen, the best part about that is there's actually very nice equipment that is bought and paid for that would severely improve the live stream that is just sitting right now because of all the shit that's going on. They're more focused on that than they are improving stuff like that, right? So us as members probably need to just
but yeah, like to me, I don't want like to me having like a bunch of vendors and some like I'm not going to buy anything at the match. I've got all my guns. I've got all my mags.
Yes, but what I'm saying is you're showing up. You bring your family. You want it to be an event. You want local people to come out and see it, right? Somebody comes out and sees it, says this is cool, right?
I have never met your wife. I've been to 4 matches with you. I've never met your wife.
My wife's been to every single nationals.
No, because we stayed in a room, and I was the only one drinking.
Oh, sorry, open nationals, not limited nationals, not limited 10 nationals. She doesn't come to low cap. She's like, yeah, fuck that low cap stuff. But what I'm saying is make the event better, and the live stream especially. The live stream could go off awesome.
Right. That's I think it's much more important to have people who can't physically attend be able to vicariously attend via the live stream. Even, not literally watching it live like you do this.
Matt, I'm not talking about that. I get so many DMs from people after I even mention that. It's not even funny.
So funny.
So I have a hot take on limited optics. Should I drop it? So here's my limited optics hot take. The job of USPSA is not to have a spot for every gun in existence. The job of USPSA is to recognize a few areas where it's interesting to create a space for a fair playing field. So it's like you can shoot your production gun. Here are the things you can and can't do to it. But at the end of the day, it's about the shooter's heads up. Like, we should not be trying to have a division for every different type of gun just because something new is on the market. So like the Laugo Alien I feel the same way. It's like, it's cool. It totally changes the way our sport works. And I'm not sure that we need to create some carve out in the rules for every single gun that's currently being manufactured. To me, like, it should be much more about, you have a menu of 3 or 4 or 5 viable options. You can kind of pick which flavor fits your needs. But at the end of the day, it's about buy a gun, go train and shoot, not like, I already have this thing because I got it on sale at my gun store. Let me shoot it in your sport. No, like we that's not our job to have a place for everything. That's my hot take.
Wow, dude. Yeah, I disagree with that on a huge level because that's where all of our local matches happen, dude. Like, literally, local matches would not exist with bring the gun you got at all. Like, you would never get first-time shooters to show up to a local club, man. They wouldn't.
I'm not saying what. No, hang on. What do you? I'm not saying like.
Is that not like?
No,
he's talking about limited optics. He's talking about limited optics.
Oh, holy shit! I was like, what the hell?
Yeah. So like, no, I mean, to me, production should be a 15-round division, a little more, get back all the like freaking thumb rests and all that stuff. So like, yeah, you got your new shooter, bring your Glock, come shoot production. It's the beginner division, and then see what's going on. You need 2 mag pouches, 3 mags, come shoot. But yeah, to me, it's like it's not USPSA's job to have a place for every gun.
And do you feel like we should be promoting the sport to new shooters and growing the sport, or keeping what we have here? How do you feel about that?
I mean, I think so this has really changed in the last few years. So I would have said a few years ago that like at least in this area.
Real quick, Christian Seiler, our fucking Natty's Nats.
Don't
champ,
say
said-
don't say that out loud. Don't say that out loud.
No, I'm saying out loud.
Don't mess up his career.
He's fine.
He's not like me.
He put it on here. He said he's naked in the hot tub heat training at 105 for Thailand. Bang his line.
Oh my God. That's
yes.
awesome. Sorry, Ben. Go ahead.
Anyway,
That
Ben,
guy's a
go ahead.
on his own podcast, he's a dick.
Hopkins wants to jump in the tub with.
Oh my God.
No, Hopkins. No.
What is going on with this podcast? What are we
Isn't that a
doing?
thing on Twitch? I'm so old. I read about Twitch on news sites. Isn't like chicks in hot tubs? Isn't that the new thing? I'm like,
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now. If Hopkins gets in, it's Grinder. I'm almost certain. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but no, at his age, it's still casual.
But Tom, to your point, like a few years ago, like around here, you basically couldn't get a slot in our local matches. Like everything was filling up.
Right.
And so to me, I think it should, like, the sport should be in a place where we have enough capacity that yes, USPSA should be out. I mean, you could say the Shooting USA stuff, but also, I mean, honestly, getting guys like Lucas, whatever, T-Rex guy, right? Getting some of these tactical guys, just like getting the word out to other communities that, hey, this is what USPSA is. It's not like a bunch of rules nerds who are going to DQ you for your first thing. Like I think like this is the only activity that I know of that is like more addictive than drugs. And anybody who tries it, they're like, oh man, I'm signing up for every match I can get to. Like the only barrier is getting people out to their first match. Once they do that,
every single person I've brought out to their first match.
Yeah.
Like the sport sells itself.
It is pretty amazing.
But we need guys like you, and that's the problem. Is I don't have the answer to this. I know this is like an age-old question. How can USPSA as a national organization foster new clubs so that there is more capacity in a given area? And I don't have an answer for that. I think it's a conversation that needs to be had. But yeah, I mean, I think there's, in 2018, 2019, there was no point recruiting because around here, like all our club matches were full with 100 people. Like I'm not joking, like 7 squads of 15. It was miserable.
It was terrible. I absolutely hated it.
Oh man, I mean, it's like, hey, we added an 8th stage, and it's like, oh, does that mean there's an 8th squad of 15 people?
Yep.
Don't worry, man. You can get 1,100 shooters done in 3 days. Trevor's got it figured out. 3 days, 1,100 shooters.
Oh,
4 days.
4 days.
My bad. 4 days, 1,100 shooters. No problem.
With paid resetters, you could rotate 1,100 people in 4 days.
So there is a disconnect between some of the people shooting and maybe some of the people that think they know what happens within the sport, that think that local match directors make a bunch of money every time they run a match. Like, it's not true at all. I don't know. I know of a single club that tries to run it for profit, but there's no way they're not running it at a loss, man. Like, I don't understand how there is the ability, right? Because we're not actually managed by the organization. We're an affiliate, right? So we can run the match. I could charge $100 for you to come to my local match. There's going to be one person, me setting it up and shooting it. But I mean, you can change the capacity of it that way and make it profitable. And then you'd have people that are interested in doing it, but you're not going to have people that are interested in shooting it because they're not going to pay that much to go shoot it.
Well, let me put it this way.
Hopkins said my match. Yeah.
I read it.
Yeah. But charge $500 for the match.
I'd rather
paid resetters.
Like I would rather, like, I think club like the match fee should convey information. Like I mean, this is, and I've had this discussion with the match director, Sir Walter. It's like we get a 7 stage. I like watch some of our match videos. I think it's legitimately level 2 quality stages every month, and and we charge $20. And pre-COVID, like we would fill up in 30 minutes. We'd fill 100 slots. And I was saying, like, price should convey quality and information. Like, a higher quality product, I think, should raise its price until it meets equilibrium of demand. But he's the match director and he runs it his way, and I respect him for doing that. So, but it's like I think that if a quality club match is being put on and it's filling up every month, it should probably raise its price.
So you don't feel like that would run people off? I'm going to ask you a question. And actually, one of the guys on here, Shrek, he has a great match over in Florida. It's like 3 hours from me, and they always put on a great match. I don't like paying $32 for that match. It's a great match. It's nothing to do with the match, but $32. I'm like, start adding that up for all the shooting that I do. I'm going to go to a $20 match. There's always been something about charging me $32 for a local means nothing match that I've always had a problem with. And I'm not cheap. It's just, that's a lot of money.
But you have that choice.
Food,
you can choose
travel.
To shoot the match
But
that you want.
Tom, at our level of shooting, when we go to a local match, we're not at a match. We're at a practice session.
I agree. So that's probably why I don't like paying $32 to practice.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yes, but
Yeah,
here's the
right.
thing. Here's the thing.
Right.
Joe Schmo B class loves paying $32 to shoot on a squad with Tom Castro and watch him shoot.
I get it.
But
To me, not everybody is rich. That's another thing, right?
No.
Not everybody has a lot of money. We all act like everybody who does this is rich, and they're not.
But honestly, Tom, I think a lot of people, like, matches are too cheap sometimes. Like, there are guys that in this area who, like, I'll see them and it's like they're shooting a club match, sometimes driving like hours and hours. They'll shoot a club match every weekend, and I'm like, if I were them, and I mean, this is obviously what I do, I would shoot 1 or 2 club matches a month, practice a little bit more. But, like when it's so cheap just to drive around and shoot all these matches, I don't know that it's really doing them a favor.
So most people don't have access to a range, though. But most people don't have access to a range. I'm telling you, people don't like. I now that I became a match director and I have access to the range, and I meet so many new shooters, I'm like, hey, what's your practice? They're like, I don't have a range access. I live 4 hours from this range. I come here. Nobody has range access like we do because we volunteer. We volunteer to have that range access.
Some people just want to come shoot and have fun.
Sorry.
But that's not the other. The other side is there's also people that can't afford or don't want to spend. They don't see the value in spending the money on a class. So where they get their value is through the entertainment and practice of going to a local match and learning every time they go to a local match.
It's 100% of practice. Right. Yes.
But that's what I'm saying is, like, if you're just getting into it, it's like you're going to learn a lot just shooting like the local $20 kind of outlaw like Joe Bob's zombie shoot or whatever. We have a lot of weird matches around here. Like, people run like all kinds of stuff.
I'm jealous. I want to go to Joe Bob's zombie shoot. Like,
it's in Oxford. I think it's actually the day after the USPSA match. They leave the walls and stuff up, and they put up zombie targets and shoot.
Yeah. So here's what you got to remember, Tom. And this is the case out here in Houston. We have a shit ton of shooters out here. I mean, a lot. And the majority of them that I talk to, which is most of the people on the range, they don't practice, and they have all the access in the world to ranges out here. They just simply like on the weekends, hanging out with the buddies, shooting some guns, and having a good time. It's like I go play golf every weekend. Every Sunday, I go play golf with my buddies and my dad.
Just as bad at that as you are with your open gun?
I'm sure it is.
Oh, way worse. Way worse.
And I think there should be a place for those matches, the $20 6-day show up and have fun. I just like, me, in a month, I would rather pay like $35 and go shoot 1 or 2 really good club matches a month.
You're not wrong.
But like, I enjoy playing golf. I don't go to the range just to practice.
Hold on. To his point though, there is an opportunity there for somebody that wants to put the energy into running a match for more money, to bring in more talent and to have them shoot a better match. Absolutely. You're just not seeing that. It's not that it's not possible.
Yeah, money doesn't make a better match.
Seeing it happen.
Yeah, money doesn't make a better match, guys. I mean, just because you charge $35 doesn't mean they're putting good stages on.
I'm not saying every $35 match is worth $35.
Right.
But I can
He's saying that if you
look at
put on a good match, you should be able to charge more than $20 for it.
But that's
I'm saying
subjective.
I think
Hold on.
Walter monthly match is worth $35.
That's a subjective thing. There are people that if I put out a 25-yard piece of steel because I'm practicing and I'm the guy who builds all the stages, I'm like, all right, cool, I'm going to put some hard shit out there. They're like, this match sucks. It's too hard. Then you put 15-foot hosers and they're like, this is the best match ever. And I'm like, this is garbage.
I am learning.
It's all
Right, that's my
subjective,
point.
boys and girls.
Matches cultivate a following based on what they have. Like some people don't like, and I hate keep harping on it, but it's it's the match I helped design stages for. Like some people don't like the Sir Walter match, and that's fine. Like it's not for everyone. What I want to see are lots of matches with a range of options, so people can pick the style and flavor. Right, whether it's like a bunch of people being super serious and asking for overlays at a club match, like, or if it's the guys who just don't even that it's much more the bros hanging out on the weekend. Like you
must have a ton of volunteers, bro. That's all I can tell you, because we don't. We just don't.
Volunteers to do what? Build the stages?
To have variety. I mean, if you have 99% of the time, if you go to a match and the same person builds the stages, it's the same flavor every single month. Every single month, every single match, because the same guy builds it. A great example is go to Nationals. If the same guy builds every single year, you have the same match. If you go to, a great example, Area 3. The reason why this year's Area 3 was completely different is you have a completely different build style.
And
right?
a lot of the stages were kind of samey, and I think Matt has even admitted that. Like he would design them. He'd inject a little more variety,
But again, you still have, from year to year, you now have two different builders. If Matt does it again next year, because that's what he builds, right? And this isn't against him. I'm just saying in general, you tend to fall in this. If you don't make an actual effort to make them different every single month, you will fall in that trap where they're all the same. I've seen it happen.
And that's why, like at Sir Walter, we have like three of us each design 2 or 3 stages a month. And so, there's my stages definitely have a flavor. And the other guys.
But we're getting really down into the nitty gritty of individual.
Yeah, we're getting down into the weeds.
Yeah, bring it back, change it up.
And we gotta rotate out people. The point of this was to rotate people.
I'm leaving anyway.
Minutes. We've been on for an hour and a half together.
You guys, I'm not yelling anymore, so peace out.
For yelling at me.
See you, boys.
Good talking to you, man.
You too, man. Hey, 1,100 people, you're crazy. Bye. Fuck off.
Yeah, give me an email and let's talk.
Yeah. All right, we got to get somebody else in. Let's see. Who's it going to be? Who has the most obvious chance of going completely off the rails?
Oh, we need somebody, because I actually screwed the lid back on my swear jar.
Did you? Unscrew that bitch.
I did.
Somebody request
to
to
go back off
join.
the rails for that.
Yeah, somebody jump in here. Let's see.
Sorry, I thought that hashtag said free Jake Martins, and I was really confused for a second.
Oh, yeah.
So finally, I can turn my volume back up. Hey, if you wanna get in, just request to join.
Or just start inviting people. Just randomly start inviting whoever's watching.
Oh man, let's see.
Somebody
here.
will bite.
Somebody will bite.
Oh, I'm just so glad I'm not having Tom yell at me anymore.
Let me toss some salad real quick. Bob, I almost called you Bob.
Whoa!
What would you say you do here? No, the number of people who talk, and you're doing us a solid with the North Carolina match, coming to run the stats for it. The number of people that talk about what you do driving around with the tablets. I mean, that's the kind of thing that, it'd be nice if headquarters had a setup like what you do. Obviously, you've gone independent.
Jesus,
oh my goodness,
Christian.
I got shorts on. Don't freak out.
well, you just ruined it for me.
Oh, I feel like your imagination run wild.
He wasn't
What's
up, kidding.
He's
actually in the hot tub.
Literally,
I actually am in the hot tub. It's a little loud. Hopefully, I'll open up my little speaker thing here. I have studying for a test on Monday, so I'm studying from the hot tub in the new house just moved into with some buddies. So I got a licensing exam on Monday, so I'm just drying it. So I'm just studying for the test, hitting flashcards in the tub, kind of winding down before bed, and then tomorrow, after we're going home to my parents' house, load up the guns and gear, and then Saturday morning leave at 4 a.m. to drive down to Oregon, shoot through all day, and then drive back to catch the UFC fights on Saturday, take my test Monday, and then I go into full-on world shoot training mode, not just the 104.
Dude, I'm just going to be completely frank with you, dude. I don't even have the energy level it takes to listen to your entire list of shit you're doing in the next few days. Like,
yeah, it's a little tough. It's a little tough.
I've gotten way too old.
You better pass. Yes, I will, Chris. Don't worry. Chris has faith in me. I know it. I've been studying for 66 for a little while. I took the SIE, the 7, then 66 Monday, so it'll be all good. So
I'm ready to see you win World Shoot, bro.
I'm also ready for that. I guarantee Eric's not in the hot tub at 105 right now. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God!
Totally
all right,
kidding,
so give us some hot takes, man. We need some heat. Give us some spicy shit. They're not gonna ban a champion. What are you worried about?
Yeah, maybe not. I don't really have any hot takes.
He's not a world champion yet.
I try to stay out of all the drama, but yeah, I'm not liking the stuff that's going on obviously right now. But I just want the best for the org. I just want the best for our guys. I want the best competitions, the best organization, and grow the sport as much as possible. And whatever works to do that, we'll see.
Give us your idea of how to improve nationals while I go get my phone charger.
I don't know. I think you can learn a lot from the IPSC. I think you can learn a lot from other organizations. I think going abroad to look at other matches and what they do differently will be really big. I mean, there's a lot of key takeaways. I mean, like, some matches are incorporating things from other countries. Like Georgia State shot through in like 2 or 3 hours. Like, there's a lot of different things you can take from international matches and learn from and improve our matches. Like, the USPSA Nationals is not the best match run in the U.S. all year, and is definitely not the best match in the world that runs all year. So I don't know about specifics.
But it should be, right?
Into it. But there's just a lot better matches abroad. I missed the Extreme Euro this year, but I signed up and had travel plans for it last year. But they just run things a lot better and more organized, have better plans, have better rules, just a smoother run ship.
Yeah, but they have funny accents. So
that is true. That's the only trade-off.
Like, we can't let Europeans be better at us than anything. You cannot spell USPSA without USA.
If it wasn't for us, they'd be
true.
speaking German anyway.
Yeah, we just got to do it better. We just got to do it better. I mean, there's world-class level events at regionals abroad, and our nationals event isn't awesome. But
I totally agree, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Extreme Euro, some world shoots are run better than others, but yeah, Extreme Euro, like, for being able to put that match on every single year in, year out, like, that is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Was that?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, sorry.
Was that like a Korean movie or something where they had like the dudes running around? They had like guys with binoculars scoring targets and shit. Like, why can't we have that? Like, where are we failing that we can't have the big billboard that shows instant gratification? I'm so.
I remember the three gun nation did it pretty well. I know they had different financial problems and org problems a little bit, but that was pretty exciting to watch. The different like reactive targets and the head-to-head stuff. I mean, like, they covered the top shooters. I think they did a couple times where they like went to the top shooters' houses and did like little videos on them. So it was like more of a story leading up to it rather than just for someone watching. It's just like two or three guys going after it. It was kind of like a build-up backstory, and you kind of get behind it a little bit more. Like, remember Hot Shots did a really good job of getting me like really engaged, really fired up about the sport. I mean, I've seen Max win the World Shoot probably like 10, 15 times on that Hot Shots. They still have it on YouTube. I've watched all the series and stuff like that. Hot Shots did a really good job. 3 Gun Nation too with the TV stuff. There's different problems there.
Yeah, the
Hot Shots, like, those are the people, like, that's the level of thing that I'm saying. Like, after nationals, there should be like a 2-hour like DVD/digital download, and you can just go back and like watch like the 2020 this nationals, the 2019 this nationals, like that the Hot Shots like level of coverage. Obviously they did more like personal stuff at home, which you didn't do, but like having that level of coverage, like, if we want to grow the sport, like, that's how you do it.
Yeah. So before I ever shot my first match, obviously I looked up USPSA on like YouTube and I came across Hot Shots.
Totally.
Before I ever shot my match, I watched all the seasons in like 3 days and was so goddamn pumped up to shoot my first match after seeing that when I got there, holy hell. I mean, it was amazing, right? So like that kind of long form content does reach people and does need to be something that we are doing. And we've got access to all these top shooters
who are great on social media, who can assist in something like that. The only problem is nobody's implemented it right now. Now, I know there is talks and plans to implement something like that, but on right now, and it's kind of shelved everything. So if we as shooters can just help push the ship in that direction instead of worrying all about all this other bullshit, let's just right the ship ourselves and say, hey, this is what we want. Let's make it happen as a group, right? Let's not focus on all the bullshit. Let's just do that. Make it happen.
Yeah. There's also no really top-down approach at all, which obviously there has to be some variation of that and supporting the entire organization, not the top shooters. But it seems like in the past couple of years, I mean, that's what I've been more tuned with. But they're like, getting people in the super squad together is not always a priority. Getting people registered is not always a priority at the top level. Focusing the spotlight on some of those shooters. I mean, I got really involved watching Casey, Max, JJ, all those guys. There's really not much promotion behind it. So, I mean, you look at other organizations, they do it a little bit different. But I don't know. I'm not too involved with the rules and everything. Haven't had a deep dive, been a little busy, more on the competitive side. But anyways, I need to study, guys. But this weekend, Oregon State, going to crush that. It's going to be fun. And then next weekend, Area 8, and shooting the open gun there. Which would be good. As much as I would love to shoot the CO gun with Max and JJ, and would be very excited to. Got to focus on the open game with the World Shoot coming up. So it'll be good.
Good luck, man.
Cool. Thanks for coming on, brother.
Thanks, guys. Take it easy.
Later.
Yeah.
All right. Who else wants to come join this thing?
I want to take my shirt off now and show everybody what real life looks like.
Bill, you're actually surprisingly in good shape. I remember that. First time I ever saw you first time we ever roomed together, you came in the room shirtless. I'm like, holy shit, I expected you to be a fat fuck under that shirt there.
Yeah.
And then I got to see too much of Bill, and then And
then you took pictures, so don't even pretend.
I did take pictures. Who else can we get on here? Somebody request to join. I don't want to just add random people that may not be into it. If you want to get on the thing, just request to join. It's pretty simple.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to. So we were talking about the tablets and stuff. So we've actually, one of the nice things is I finally got rid of the apples. I've gone to Fire tablets.
Okay.
And so the Fire tablets are really inexpensive, which is nice when you're just handing them out to staff members in rain and shit. But they're like bloated with all this extra software. Well, if you get the early enough versions of it, you can wipe all of that shit off of there, and it's just an Android platform. Nice. All I load on there is practice score, and it runs great for everybody. So I've been having a lot of success with those Fire tablets.
Yeah, and not like, not to toot our horn again, but it's like that like being able to not have the person like dealing with copying to paper backup is like obviously saves us a staff member. Like that's part of how like North Carolina we try and run everything so efficiently is, you got someone on the timer, and the timer guy, when he's done scoring, like he'll turn around and paste the last 3 or 4 targets, and you got someone else coming the other way with a paster gun. And so, it's all about how can we use, gear, paster guns and the tablets and whatnot to basically reduce the staff load that we need. So it's not just, throwing bodies at the problem, but actually trying to, work smarter, not harder, I guess is the cliche, right?
Yeah.
So like that helped, like that basically cut our staff need by 9 people, right? Because we don't have to have one person on each squad, and you always hate rotating.
It does, but you have to make sure you have the infrastructure set up for it.
Yes,
and that's
your whole setup with the Wi-Fi boxes and everything. Yeah,
that's the whole reason I've been traveling around to do this, is to show people what it looks like. I'm trying to get to the next level of like here's a package. Let's just fucking install this shit. All you gotta do is plug it in when you show up to a match, right? But it's trying to get clubs into, hey, spend a couple bucks out of, the budget where you were spending it on steel. And now all of a sudden, when you're running your major matches, you don't have to deal with this shit anymore. It's already here.
Right.
Like next year, I've been running pretty hard at this for 2 years now. And next year I want to make a run at Limited Nationals while Limited still has some shooters in it. So,
you can't be running as many matches as you were.
So I won't be able to do nearly as many matches next year. So I'm trying to balance that out with, still trying to do the things that I know my area needs, that I know, like I want to hit area 6, 8, and 7 again. North to south, or south to north. But and I want to support my local guys, but I'm not going to be able to do some of the matches I did this year just to be able to get around. Thankfully, I do to go to some of these clubs and you're like, hey, what do we need to do to make this permanent? And it's an awesome conversation. I'm like, well, you're looking at spending about this much money. And, it doesn't even have to be with me. Like, you've got your own nerds. All these guys have their own nerds.
Yep.
Like, most of the sport is fucking IT people anyway. Like,
yeah, much more of it, is just having the, however many thousand to buy the tablets and the Wi-Fi repeaters and know which ones are reliable in that.
Almost every club has at least like 8 tablets, right? Like, it's just a matter of getting them to understand that it doesn't take a whole lot extra to get to the next level of the Wi-Fi connections. So
yeah, and to me, like that's what big matches, like people talk about, oh, we should move the area match around so it builds up clubs in different areas, like throughout the area. I mean, yeah, having a bunch of walls and steel and stuff is nice, but having that equipment, like having the know-how, like, hey, we're going to host the match here, and what we're going to leave behind is the Wi-Fi repeaters and 5 spare tablets and whatnot. Like that seems a lot more productive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what you get right now if you do move matches around is you end up leaving behind. So when I'm going to use my experiences, right? So when I ran Virginia, when I ran Area 8, it was, hey, I'm going to come in. I'm going to spend this much on lumber if you guys help me build the walls. And then we leave almost everything behind. And that was what we did. So when we ran Area 8, because we would shoot the shit out of some walls, we'd fuck their shit up pretty hard. It was like we'd leave the equipment behind because these walls are now to replace the ones that we fucked up while we were here. And that was kind of like how we did it. When we did finally get around to realizing we could do live scoring, we left up the poles. So when I go back there now to set up my Wi-Fi, everything's there. I know exactly where to put them. I just go zip time on the poles that we created while we were there for that. So I really want to see more matches move away from paper the right way. There are some matches that will move away from paper by doing like the mobile hotspot where you got somebody in a golf cart driving around and pulling scores that way. And that's not really the best way to handle that. Because if a tablet goes out before you can get there with your golf cart sync, then those scores might be lost.
3 or 4 shooters or 5, a whole squad,
or a whole squad. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of learning that has to happen there too with people. Like, to make this happen, you have to lock your tablet. Yes, I understand that you trust your ROs, but this stage has exactly the same number of paper as this stage. If you don't lock your tablet to that stage, you're gonna score the wrong one. Happens almost every fucking time, man. Poor stats guy that's sitting there transferring scores by hand. But anywho, enough about me. Nobody? You haven't found anybody? You're sitting there smirking at people's comments in the
I'm waiting to see it. Hold on, I'm waiting to see if I can land a whale.
Uh-oh. You can't. No way.
I'm trying.
If I wasn't on my phone, I would try calling somebody.
I'm trying to land a whale. We'll see if it works.
Get Matt Beam in here. He wants to talk about why the North Carolina section is really poorly run.
We'll do that in a minute.
I mean, he's posted in the chat. I'm curious to hear the.
Oh, hold on, 1 second. Come on, go through. We'll see if it works. Oh, hold on. God damn it. There we go. What's up, buddy?
Hey, guys. How are you?
How's it going?
Oh. Bill's dead right now.
So I got to say, Ben, I don't think I've ever met you. Have we met?
I don't think so.
So I probably agree with about 90% of what you say. And that's saying a lot for me because I think we need to have a chat.
You've shot a lot of IPSC. Like you've seen how like there are better ways to do a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, they are. They are. So let's talk IPSC Extreme. So I love that match. That match is freaking awesome. If we could figure out a way to run that here, that'd be great. They have a bunch of high school kids that they've been training over years. So they run, they rotate them in and out like during lunchtime. Each kid has a specific designated place that they go to. So let's say RO1 is scoring targets 1, 2, 3, 4. That kid runs and literally tapes or pastes the target as that RO scores it, and then they call across the other side of the stage, and then RO2 scores that stage, and RO3.
So kids are pasting targets. You're getting into the weeds.
Well, so it's very well structured. That's been going like that for a number of years, and they all know what they're going to do and so forth. They can score and stage and obviously tape it stage faster than what you can literally get to the end and walk back to the starting position. And that's how they run 30 stages over 3 days, half-day formats, 10 stages morning, 10 stages afternoon.
Right. So the hard part is finding people here in the States that are willing to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
You go to like a Boy Scout troop or something like that, but then what you end up is like, what are the Boy Scout troop going to get out of that? Because right now, like, you can't you can offer them like nothing. I can like all of my money's already spent on the match. Like, what am I going to offer to buy your troop a tent? Like, that's going to suck.
So you can get them about $6,000 to $8,000 out of a match. And I've talked to a bunch of people about these things, and how much would you pay extra for a match? And most people will tell you $20-$30 easily. Some people go $40-$50. I'd pay $50 for a match if I didn't have to reset, especially if it was a area championship of some kind.
Yes, but Lane, you're on a different pay scale than me, bro.
I know.
So here's what we found in North Carolina. What we found in North Carolina is we can actually get more shooters through the stages. So we can actually increase the registration without raising the match fee by having staff reset, simply because the shooter to shooter time is that much lower.
Right. That's why I was getting in the weeds that Bill was talking about. So if you run it that way, you literally can run. I don't remember their times, but it's about 30% faster than what we run a stage. Shooters notoriously are slow as heck resetting a stage.
Yeah, well, because they're disorganized. Oh, are you getting that? Am I getting that?
And
let me ask you this, Leighton. Match like that or like World Shoots, do they do it where chrono is like a spot on the schedule where you go and like dick around for 25 minutes, or
no? Somebody shows up at the stage while you're shooting, and they draw 4 or 5 names out of a hat, and those people get put on a list, and you have to show up at chrono at some point during the match and go in chrono. If the match is over and you haven't chronoed, then you DQ'd. So you just have to do it in your own time. And then they do a lot of surprise chrono, which I think we should be having in USPSA as well.
So, I mean, spoiler alert, that's almost exactly, not literally, but that's almost exactly how we're going to run it in North Carolina this year. So we're deleting chrono from the squad matrix. So people will probably be done, 20 minutes faster. And we're just going to have someone on a golf cart just rolling up, just, pull, like, hey, let's get some bullets. Okay, you got to come by chrono before the end of the match, or you shoot for no score.
Yep.
And
anybody has to do popper calibration needs to go chrono as well.
Ooh, I like that.
I've suggested that a few times. Yeah, if you don't pass chrono, if you have a popper that doesn't go down, then go check it out. Let them pick up that mag and off you go.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, Matt, I know it could be a shit show. We're trying something new, but we're going to do it in a sort of phased way, and if it works. And again, I mean, like what Leighton's saying, like it's been done. But I mean, I'll be honest. Like also just the whole thing of taking declared bullet weight. It's like if you're not actually pulling the bullet and measuring it, it's like what are we even doing here? Like you're measuring 3 velocities and then multiplying it by whatever I make up. Like come on, like what are we even doing here?
Do you think people cheated chrono? Do you think they have special ammo?
I have no idea.
I mean, let's face it. Everybody knows. You show up at a match, the first stage of the match, they pull your ammo.
I don't think
exactly. No, and that's why, like to me, I actually think having chrono be such a big part of the schedule is such a joke. I think it is just kind of a formality for so many people, and it's like if you could literally have that be another stage, why would you not? Like I think the everybody, like exactly when you're going to show up in chrono, It just makes it so easy to game it to the point where you, in my opinion, you might as well not even do it like the way it's normally done. Like you're saying, where first stage, you're going to get to pick whatever mag on your belt you want to pull 8 rounds from. So like, there's no way to know if they're actually using a stage. I mean, it's like, it's so easy to cheat that it only catches like incompetent people.
Then mag check, you can have ROs on a stage doing a mag check, just has in his pocket. They do that at IPSC. Guy walk up to you, give me your big stick off your belt, and they unload it and check it.
Do you think that's the way it should be?
It makes it faster. That way, everyone's standing around. You can do it. They also check serial numbers, check see if you haven't changed position of your equipment. Obviously, it doesn't matter for open, but they're much stricter on things like that. So another question: IPSC doesn't have sight pictures. You think we should kill that in USPSA? Speed up the match. That's like a minute for some people.
It would definitely speed things up.
Yeah, I think when we're talking about, like, when we're looking at matches cutting walkthroughs from 5 minutes down to 3 minutes, it's like if you got a 10-person squad and each person on that squad takes 20 seconds longer at make ready, there's your 2 minutes you've just lost. Yeah. So yeah, if it was something where, we're trying to speed the match up and it's either cut the walkthrough time or no sight pictures at make ready, like I'd pick no sight pictures at make ready, because I mean, I don't that provides no value to me.
We run so many dots in our sport, and in IDPA the only division they start doing sight pictures are dot divisions. So you're
well, in IPSC you can check your dot pointing at the ground, right?
Right, and that's similar to what IDPA does. Is you can check it to make sure it's on, and then put it back in the holster. And
you're not dry firing the gun.
Not allowed to manipulate the gun.
And we've got people doing so. I've actually, Trevor, you were there at Nationals. I made it a point. I don't even I first unbag my gun on stage 1. Like my
Bill
make
goes
ready is literally right in the holster. and I shot a great match. It doesn't take all those extra steps. I mean, okay, I will admit for some people, they need that extra couple steps to make their match work. I don't understand it myself, but
it's like, is it really their place to get to make like the whole system gum up because they need to spend 20 minutes summoning their chi spirit or whatever? It's like, yeah.
I think it's something we just inherited. People just get used to it, and some people stretch it out. I mean, Eddie Garcia, pick on poor old Eddie for a second. Yeah, he can run that. If you say anything to him, he'll run it to a minute and a half before he actually shoots. And I think I've actually timed it. We played around with it at Rio one day, and I think we were hitting like 25 seconds. If you gave everybody 25 seconds. So from the time you say, make ready, they have 25 seconds, and then the guy's going to say, are you ready? If you're not ready, you get a procedural. And then that'll speed it up real fast.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds like I could see this tomorrow showing up on memes, but
it already is.
But no, I mean, that's the thing.
I've already memed it.
It's the question is, what is the purpose of this? And if the goal is to get people through because the problem is you got to have a line somewhere, right? And like currently there is no line. And so this is if you want to spend 20 minutes making ready at your practice, like have fun. And again, 20 minutes, sorry, someone commented, that's exaggeration, obviously. But these people who are taking 60 seconds, 90 seconds, twice as long as it takes them to shoot the stage, it at least at big matches, move along. Like if you're not ready when your name is called, then unload, go to the back of the line, go figure out what you need to do. Like we're not saying you have to shoot right now, but just unload, go figure out whatever you need to figure out at the safe table, and then come back later.
I think where this developed was from people wanting, I'm spending 8 hours on the range today to shoot for a minute and a half. I want my minute and a half to mean something to me, and they take all that extra time because, like, I don't know. I think like when you're waiting for a table in a restaurant and you finally get your table, you're like, this is me time. Y'all can just fuck off about that.
I know. I'll say to people like, hey, you bought the time, use it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where this developed.
I think a lot of this stuff there aren't a lot of people that take a lot of time. It's probably maybe 1 out of 4 or 5 shooters. So it's really probably not that significant. It's not like you can say there's 350 shooters in the match, and if you take 30 seconds off per shooter, you save X amount. But I think it will speed things up. And it's just a pattern. I mean, when we start practicing like we are right now, practicing for World Shoot and practicing for Pan Am, which is in like 3 weeks, 2 weeks, then we don't take side pictures, we don't manipulate the gun, you don't dry fire. If you drop the hammer, you get a warning the next time. They write it up on a little piece of paper, and once you get into that mindset of doing that, it's really nothing. I mean, you know the stage. And then the other thing they do in IPSC is they have an RO that gets the on deck shooter ready. So when you're coming up next, they'll bring you to the, you do your walkthrough while they're scoring, and then they'll bring you back to the starting position. So at the moment the RO and the other shooter come back behind the line again, the instant they cross that line, they say, make ready, and then you get ready, That speeds it up as well.
I don't want to be I'm going to be the guy here. Look, I'm going to be the guy that reminds everybody that IPSC does their game completely differently than we do our game.
They do.
The amount of money that gets pushed into an event is ridiculous compared to what happens here in the States. And until we revamp how we do sponsorship for our events, it's going to not change.
But what does it cost to shorten make ready? Like you're bringing money into it. Like,
I'm talking about having that extra staff person there for a range that doesn't have.
So how do they?
So in North Carolina.
In North Carolina, you guys have a lot more staff that live locally to some of these ranges. Where
we don't.
We import.
They drive in from Virginia. They drive in from South Carolina. They drive in from Tennessee.
Okay. All right. I'm just okay. But for a lot of these clubs, well, I don't want to say a lot. A lot of these clubs
I'm telling you, Bill, if you take care of your people, they will drive 2-3 hours to work.
You still have to pay for them to live there for the weekend for a major match. You still have to pay to feed them for the match. All of this.
My question would be, how do they get more money?
How
do they go about getting more sponsors?
Well, it's revamping how we do our sponsorship is the first thing, right? So it's one of the things I've been trying to get people to be interested in the first place, which is like, find somebody that actually helps your match and not somebody that just wants to give you free shit. Like we just got done talking about how prize tables make or break, some people's interpretation of how the match was run, but fuck, it doesn't actually do anything to make the match better. It doesn't do anything. It makes more stress. You have to hire somebody to be on staff that actually manages sponsorships, make sure you got their banners up and shit. But all it brings to the match is prestige, right? You've given away slots to your match to these guys, and it doesn't actually improve your match. But if you say,
I think the prestige of your match should come from the quality of the staff, the quality of the stages, like not whose banners you have hanging up.
And I think if we make that shift, then if we say, okay, we're not going to do all this bullshit with the prize table, sponsors have to give cash to run the match, right? Like they do in IPSC. Cash from sponsors, not prizes from sponsors.
No
right?
prize tables in IPSC.
If we make that shift, eventually people are going to be in it to go shoot the match for the quality of the match and not go, you know what, I'm going to go to Area 2 because I know I'm going to win a Hellcat.
I'm looking at my expense report or my expenses from the 2017 Area 8 match, and I'm looking at my summaries, and I've got food was listed as $13,000. I've got match hotel was listed as $15,000, and that was out of a $67,000 budget. So right there, about half of the match was spent on just food and hotel.
Yeah, no question. Like the biggest expense of a big match is making it worthwhile for quality people to come be a part of it.
Work your match, exactly.
But I'm not the section coordinator. People think that I'm like the puppet master. I'm not. My wife Stephanie is. She runs the budget. She does everything. But she has told me that even in the past 2 years, when we've been 2/3 full, we've scaled things back and the match is broken even. This year we're I think more like 80% or 85% full, and there's going to be a little tidy profit. But it's like, I mean, but you have to have a good budget and live within your means.
I've had the wonderful experience of having done those match directing podcasts and had some people come and talk to me about it. And I have a match down. It's the Alabama Steel Championship, and she took some of that stuff to heart, and she went around and talked to the local lumber yard. Or it was a construction company. They're not paying for any lumber at all for their Steel Challenge match. They went and talked to one of the local law offices, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we want to sponsor your match by paying for the porta potties and lunch," right? So they're finding there's people out there that are spending the energy into finding somebody that'll help make their match better by freeing up some of that money to be spent elsewhere. And it's just awesome. I'm just so excited every time somebody does it, because it's feeding us in that forward direction of getting out of this cycle. And I'm not saying I'm ungrateful. Sig wants to send, a couple guns, or Glock wants to send 3 certificates to our match. That's amazing. Love you guys for it. It's really, that's not really helping our match, right? Like,
especially the guns, because like it's just one guy
Chris,
gets a really big prize and everybody else gets nothing.
So Chris from Trident asked, how do we make it worth it for the sponsors? I think, honestly, pushing hard for a live stream scenario that we had talked about earlier in the podcast, run the right way, which
it's not the only
that's
route.
the most efficient way. That's the most efficient way. Otherwise, what's the point? They're going to put a banner up there?
Well, let's talk
get
about
10,000 eyeballs on the internet instead of,
what if you can get 20,000 people to watch it and have an ad on that of those 20,000 people to watch it?
Trevor, are we talking about nationals, or are we talking about a level 2?
I'm talking about nationals and area matches.
I don't
and possibly
think,
some level
2s. I don't think they were asking about that. I think they were asking about more like level 2 stuff. So for us to damn it.
Level 2 IPSC matches probably don't operate like a level 4 IPSC match, which is what we were discussing.
Yeah.
We're talking about big matches. We want it to run like a level 4 IPSC, like an Extreme Euro. It's got to be a big match. It's got to be run the right way. It's got to be cash instead of prizes. It's got to be, if you want to make it worth it for sponsors, especially in the US, you got to have some way to live stream it. Everybody watches sports on their phone nowadays. Everybody YouTubes. Everybody does that. Listen, I don't give a shit about watching golf live, but I watch the highlights.
Well, it's not impossible. It's just cost.
It's a lot easier to do than you think, Bill.
You're talking to the guy that's tried to figure out how to do it. Like, literally,
you're talking
looking at my budget and looking at what I can afford and who I can afford to send to the range and be behind a camera for 3 days. And finding a personality that'll come to the range and sit on the range for 3 days and develop a story about the people that are there. And then another person to sit behind a computer and actually edit the footage into something that's informative and entertaining. Dude,
Yes, but your budget and USPSA's budget are drastically different.
Well, we're running at a negative budget doing what we're doing now. What do you want me to tell you, bro? Like, they ain't got it. Like,
yeah, they do.
This shit costs a lot of money. And it's just not... I would love for it to happen too. I don't see it happening. Are we seeing IPSC run live streaming and stories and building this kind of thing in IPSC? I mean, we just got done saying, or well, rather, some of our guests have just got done saying how IPSC is like the premier sport or the premier event to go to. And I'm like, yeah, but they're doing their sponsorship differently. They've got all this extra money to spend there. Like, if we can get in that direction where we're pulling our sponsorships into paying for those things and making those happen out of somebody else's funds or getting them paid for, that's what will drive us into that direction. Not saying we need to pay for our memberships to have people on camera duty, like a guy on sound boom. Like,
but I mean, I think at the end of the day, the thing that will drive that interest is high quality matches and high quality shooters, and not having attention fractured around where it's like, oh, I won the nationals. Oh, I did too, because you got 6 or 8 national. Well, I guess you'd have a national champion in every division, but you wouldn't have like one guy. Like it would be the same guys duking it out for nationals. 1 weekend as the next. You have one big nationals, and it gets a lot of coverage, and it's such a high quality match. It gets a lot of eyeballs, and that's worth more money to sponsors. I don't personally think sponsors should necessarily be a huge portion of the budget. I think if we can get make the match fees and or activity fees, fund the quality experience. Sponsors are gravy, but I think they should definitely be, they should not like be having the first say in what, how we structure nationals.
do they?
So I'm not saying they do. I'm just saying, like, I don't want to chase sponsors above all else. I'm not saying they currently are, but no, I'm not saying they currently are.
I hate interrupting because Bill says I always interrupt him. Bill, you haven't said a word about the fact that I've been so quiet.
Well, I was enjoying just having that, look at you without actually hearing that accent. It was awesome.
Hey, Trevor invited me on here. Like,
Just
so let me tell you what couple of things and that I feel about broadcast. So the first thing is we have a sport that belongs to us. You guys, I was listening right from almost the beginning of the podcast because we had a rainstorm tonight, killed our match. And one of the things that I think we've got to really focus on is building our sport amongst us. In other words, we all sit there, we all help promote it, we all build it and so forth. Having said that, broadcasting, live streaming. We started doing live streaming at the matches. Rick and his team did I think, an amazing job with almost no money. They had a little bit of sponsorship and a few people helped, and they started streaming the stages. They started adding in text, they started adding in graphics, etc. But it was done on a shoestring budget. We then kind of talked each other into getting more equipment, and they have the equipment sitting there. But we need high-speed lines, and that was one of the big attractions to Cameo, is that Cameo had a fiber optic line where we could run, I think the discussion was between 10 and 15 cameras on at the same time from that. That means we can run not just the primary feed, obviously the main stage, Super Squad, whatever, but we can also run other people's stages. And one of the concepts that we've been working on, and which is kind of ground to a halt because we're dealing with all this other stuff, is the idea that we can live stream as well as record, archive a ton of this stuff so that we could make videos about it afterwards. We can feed it out to people. So you'd have like a friends and family list. So somebody like a Niels or a Mason or a Max Michelle, Casey, JJ, those guys, they'd have like 10,000 people on their list. People like Trevor and me, we might have our mom and maybe a couple of other people, like 5 people following us. Trevor's wife might be one of them. And they would send out a notification to them the moment that it's like 3 minutes down. And when you're in the hole, you get sent out a notification that you're coming up on that stream, and then that person can watch. We can archive that, and we can also use it in the manufacture or the making of videos afterwards. A big part of that, and I've already talked to all these guys. I've got probably 8 to 10 of the top people that are happy to help out with that. If we do that, getting a guy like JJ or Casey or Christian Saylor, who was super accommodating when I talked to him about it, getting them to do live commentary or color commentary during times that they're not shooting. And then, imagine having a C-class shooter be commentated by a guy like Casey or JJ. I mean, that would be awesome. And that's how I think we're going to monetize all of this stuff. And then that stuff gets obviously sold, the friends and family chip in, etc. And I realize it's a big ask, but the question is, how do we raise the money for it? Well, there's a few people that I think would be prepared to put in. And then it's a question of whether we as a group, as a team, as a whatever the heck you want to call it, membership can build that, or whether we're going to sit there and try and tear it apart because, that stream wasn't perfect or whatever. There's no such thing as perfect. You think that NFL was perfect when they came out with 4K. Remember all the problems they had back then?
No.
They
were. Yeah, they were. Trust me.
That was
people paying for
to be
4K
fair,
and getting 1080 and all that.
To be fair, your first NFL game was probably over the radio.
Yeah, it was actually. Like,
come on,
and
Telegraph.
Hey, Brady Bunch in black and white, man. That's what I got to watch.
Well, listen, I want to go back.
Otto Graham just threw a touchdown.
I want to go back to Trident's question about the benefits to a cash sponsor, and I think the way that you can help make it beneficial to a sponsor to pay cash in the short term is, first off, not try to say, like, if a stage sponsor is $1,000, you don't ask for $1,000 in cash because it's not equivalent. Ask for $400 in cash because that $400.
Because when they send product, it's deductible, right?
Right, and $400 is going to do a lot more for your match than $1,000 worth of product anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in asking for that cash, a buy-in might be something like, hey, we have a dedicated social media person that's not the match director, that's not the sponsor coordinator, that's not any other role. Their only thing is to promote the match and your sponsorship of it on social media and whatever other platform we do. And that would be that person's only role. Divide that role up and make it not the other people, because it just gets forgotten or it doesn't happen the way it should. And if you can do that and actually help them build their brand, because now they're buying into your match by paying for, a social media person for the next 3 months. That might be something that's worthwhile for, and it's something that gives them a return on investment. They'd be willing to pay for cash. So you have to, that's just a quick answer on something that I would consider beneficial to having come in as a cash sponsor. Because otherwise, if I send you a $200 certificate, my markup might already be 50 I wish, like 40% maybe, right? So 40%, so I'm already paying $60, and then your guy never turns the certificate in until it's expired. So now he doesn't turn it until it's expired, so I only gave him half of that anyway. So I long term, I'm only in for $30 if that guy ever turns the certificate in the first place. So there's all kinds of ways to do this, guys. Think outside the box, and please try to find somebody that's willing to help your match. And I'm talking about, you look at places like Shooters Connection. They want to help your match. They want to help you pay less for your targets. You talk to somebody like CED, and they're like, hey, we want to help you with chronographs, or at least they used to. I don't know what they're doing right now. I don't know if they're doing anything right now, actually. I think Target Barn has a thing. I can't think of anybody else specifically about that. But there are companies out there that want to help you be better. Another one I can think of off right hand is Steel Target Paint. You know, they're going to help you with the pricing on their paint to help you make your match better and not have you with the shitty cans of paint. So please, guys.
Yeah, see, but like this is what we need, is like lots of different people trying different things and then having some kind of feedback mechanism.
Right.
I think, you know, this is probably the biggest shame is when somebody runs, you know, has a really well run match for a couple of years. Like, I'm glad. I mean, when I started watching this live stream, it was all about Area 3, right? Talking about like sharing the wins, getting the message out there. Hey, like talking about like, here's what we did, here's why it worked, here's why you should imitate it. And there's not really a community of practice to like kind of share those things among a community of match directors or anything. But yeah, having those kinds of wins, like first, or something like, hey, we tried this for this match and it was a flop because of this. Okay, like now everybody else running level 2s knows that. There's not a good way for that word to get out right now, but like that's why I think it's cool to nerd out about this stuff and like running good matches more than just like how to get like sub 20 splits or whatever.
Yeah, we've gone way far away from the actual shooting part of the sport, haven't we?
You got to run good events. Like that's what people want.
I did put together my new belt rig while this started. Anyway, the only thing not on it right now is the actual holster for the gun. So, but
nice.
Yeah, man.
So basically, what you're saying is, in order to have those level 4 IPSC style matches, we got to get sponsors to be more cash heavy, and sponsors that are going to help the match rather than just fluff up the prize table.
Yeah, well, I mean, the prize table doesn't do anything for the match.
True.
Yeah, I mean, I would be really curious, like how much of the operating, you know, from like an Extreme Euro is sponsor cash versus match fees. I mean, I don't know, but I feel like sponsors are important, but at the end of the day, like we should make a quality product and charge what it's worth.
Well, right. So, and the way that it's being currently done at USPSA is they feel, or the way I understand it anyway, is that they feel that the money being paid by the membership is to have USPSA put on the nationals. Now you have to remember, this is coming back from way back in the day when USPSA was like, I don't know, 3 dudes and a range, like, right? So you've got an organization that's been growing, but its original roots are the membership is what's helping pay for nationals. That's why they spend so much money on nationals that doesn't come out of match fees. Where I run an Area 8, and it's run completely on match fees. I have no superfluous funds. If I go into black, it's coming out of my budget. Black, red. If I go into red, it's coming out of my house budget, right? Like
you had to think, black, red.
Black, red.
Yeah, no, and that's the other thing. I think, yeah, especially if, you know, like nationals was a bigger deal. Like, yeah, what concerns me is having more nationals if each one is losing money. But, you know, if we
remember, what I just said, though, is that the match is being paid for out of membership fees. So if you have
which
a match,
I'm okay with.
Right. But if the membership is what's paying for the match, but you don't want all of the membership to be able to attend the match, that becomes no longer membership centric. It's more who's got the better skills. And now I'm not saying that it would be super cool for there to be an event, and I've already said that, even if it's only like every couple of years or something. But I don't see nationals being that with the way that the organization's structured right now, like at all. Like
It would be cool to have like an invite-only cash payout match.
Yeah, those don't exist at all already, do they? Didn't you?
No, I mean, because at the end of the day, like, you need a certain number of shooters on the, like, warm bodies on the bay to make it worth it. You know, 400, 500 people paying, you know, a $200-$300 match fee. Yeah, I mean, I guess, Bill, so here's my question, though, is like, does it serve the members better to have, you know, I mean, we're talking about a few hundred people here, like Hopkins was saying, right? Like 900 to 1,100 people, unique people shoot nationals in a given year. Like, so we're basically talking about 400, 500, 600 members on the margin who, you know, would not earn a slot, who can currently, because we have 6 nationals a year or whatever, can pay their way.
Well,
in. Like,
what did he say? He said 1,000, 1,100? What was it?
950 to 1,100 unique shooters at nationals.
Okay.
And that's probably taken into account 2-gun and 3-gun, where most of those guys are 3-gunners who come over to try to qualify for a World Shoot Team slot or shoot another big match, whatever. But realistically, you could have an 1,100 person nationals at a good enough range.
Live shots. Nationals doesn't lose money. They spend money from USPSA that's paid for by membership fees. That's not losing money. The way that it's structured right now is it's partially funded by membership and partially funded by match fees. So,
So you must remember, you guys said earlier, I think, Trevor, you said it earlier in the podcast before I came on, that like 80% of the nationals expenditure is on staff. So the only way you get away from that is to have more volunteer staff and less have, you know, in other words, have it in an area where there's more people that are able to attend, that are living locally, you know, not having to travel, fly, hotels, cars, et cetera, et cetera. But for nationals, that's almost impossible. The other thing is that nationals is 24 stages. Most area championships are, 12, 15 maybe, depending. And so they're running literally twice as many stages, and they're going to do it for the same amount of money. So, you know, nationals is an expensive game. There is a bylaw, of course, that says we have to hold the nationals, but we could combine them, and we have combined them. And that discussion is, you know, how much we can put together in one match, etc. From my personal point of view, I think that 3-gun and 2-gun and PCC nationals maybe should be farmed off to, you know, third party, have somebody that is into the 3-gun world, let them run a match, much like we did. I think we did it once before where Shannon ran it down at Frostproof, but as an independent match. And then that would make it a lot easier. And then if we kept Carry Optics as its own nationals, because obviously there's, you know, more than half the shooting in this country right now in our sport is Carry Optics division, and then put the rest of it into either 1 or 2 nationals. That would save a few $100,000 in a year.
And then you could just get rid of Revolver, Limited 10.
That doesn't affect anything really, because you can Revolver what they.
I know. I just like rocking the boat, Leighton. I just like rocking the boat, Leighton.
I don't know, Leighton. I don't know if you heard this, but I was like kind of talking earlier about, you know, it's like if you win, you know, say top 3 your area match or like your state match, you know, you earn a slot. Like it could still be that, you know, it's the top 20 Revolver guys. If guys really, you know, like if there's enough heat, you know, you can't just show up and be the only person at your state match and, you know, win it or whatever.
But that guy might be the top shooter in the nation, and you've just allowed him. You just made it so he can't come.
Well,
you see what I'm saying?
To be realistic, at most of these big matches,
the way it is right now, though. That's
there's barely any Revolver
have these outliers show up that are just fucking farm dudes.
Yeah. I'm just spitballing. We can solve these problems, Bill. I'm just saying, like, if we set the goal on the horizon to be like what Leighton's talking about, where you have fewer matches, but you get everybody together.
Right.
Again,
Listen,
like to me,
so there's 2 problems with that. Let me tell you what. The first thing is the top shooters are going to get a slot to the nationals anyway, because they're in almost most cases they sponsored shooters, and so they're whatever sponsor it is.
We've already hashed over all that stuff, though, haven't we?
I don't know. The area director who has experience with this wants to.
Yeah, let's let him talk.
Sorry, dude.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude. Sorry, my bad.
Sorry, Bill. I'm so tempted to use a hashtag, but anyway. And then the second thing with the top guys is that you must remember that sponsors would not be very much in favor of us combining all the nationals into one, because they want to see their guys compete in the different divisions. I mean, so there's that. But how
which
big
is
of a
where
deal
it
is
feels
that?
like do sponsors have input on that? Clearly, they have at least some input that they're at least
Sponsors
weighing
like
towards more
Beretta
national.
and Glock and SIG and those guys, they definitely have input. I mean, they're a pretty significant part of the industry.
So I think we do an irons nationals and an optics nationals and be
What
done
about
with it.
PCC? Put PCC in with 3-gun or with 2-gun?
Sure.
I told somebody that if you want to win an election to an area director, all you got to do is come out and say you're going to ban PCCs and you'll win that election hands down. But
I think honestly there should be less divisions. I think it should be low cap iron, low cap optic, high cap iron, high cap optic, and let it roll.
all right. And just for the record, I'm not saying ban PCCs. Just so we're clear on that.
Yeah, so you're gonna
I'll say it.
listen.
Fuck PCC.
That's already been clipped. That's already been clipped. I'm sure you'll get some emails about it. Don't worry.
You're supposed to let somebody talk over you on that.
Bill, earlier on you asked the question, so would I run for area director again? Short answer right now is I probably am not. And the reason is simply because all the things that I want to do, I'm not able to do. I didn't sign up for all this drama. Is it going to chase me away? I think Trevor said, would that push me away? No, I was raised in South Africa. It's kind of a different meme. The meme world doesn't affect me that much. But, I really feel at the end of the day, it's one of the things I've said to you, Bill, and I've said to you, Trevor, many, many times that, we should all be in this game to build a sport, not to break it down. So, there's that. However you want to take that. And I probably shouldn't have said that this weekend. So, there's that. All right, Bill, you're up.
No, I've run out of shit to say. That's not true, but I'll say it out loud.
Yeah, see, Live Shots Net is on board with high and low cap iron and optics. I think it's a smart fucking decision. And then you can still have limited and open if you want.
I think capacity is not the difference. If we're talking about let's say production moves to 15, the difference between high and low at that point would be 15 versus 23. It's like,
no. I'm saying low cap 10 round, high cap.
There's zero reason to have a
140
10 round low cap division. There's no point.
So
well, you already got single stack. You already got limited 10 and whatever. You got 10 round states. It just makes sense to have low cap at 10
round
rounds.
States are covered by 331.
You know what?
Listen, there are places you can go and play high cap, low cap, and all that shit. There's places you can go play optics or irons, bring whatever gun you want. I mean, there's all kinds of outlaw matches you can go play that bullshit at. That's not what this sport is. So
right. My point is, it's like it should be much more about level of customization, right? So you can play in production where you're shooting stock ammo with minimal modifications. If you want to really go ham, tinkering with your 2011, then limited's the place for you. If you want to go to the extreme, optics and comps, then open's the place for you. To me, it's not about capacity or caliber. It's about what level of involvement and how interested are you in messing with your gear.
That's what I'm saying. Low cap is production style.
A premier event. There is literally nothing in the USPSA organization that would stop the four of us from deciding that we're going to put on the most premier event every year, run it as a level 2, but it could be the most premier event.
Look what
they're doing.
There's no point to get level 2 sanctioning.
No, there is for getting match bumps for it. The other thing is, look at what Dragons Cup's doing. They're doing an amazing job down there at that range. That is the most talked about match all year until the match is over.
What was Magnus?
And that match was brutal. We're
so
people dropping at that match, but yet everybody still loved it and everybody still enjoyed it. So even under tough conditions, it was a great match and great trophies.
Nothing stopping anybody from deciding that they can do it better and putting on a premier USPSA match better than national. There's just nothing stopping you.
We do it every year at North Carolina. Come shoot with us. Third week. I'm not kidding, man.
I'm going to be there.
So something to consider when you guys compare IPSC, and I don't want to sound like I'm pushing IPSC all night because I'm not, but remember that we're talking about individual matches at IPSC, Czech Extreme is great, Baltic Storm is I've never shot it, but I've heard great stories about it. The Infinity match in Germany, which you're not allowed to videotape, is a great match. But they're one match in each country, right? It's not like they're having them every week or every weekend. Here in the States, I don't know this for sure, but I will bet you money that we run more big matches in the States than everywhere else in the world put together, you know, from a level 2/level 3 type match, you know. South Africa, I know, has 3 nationals, but that's just because they have 3 different areas and people don't like to travel. A lot of people don't travel. So, yeah, I mean, I think you know, if you look at Area 2, what's made the Area 2 Championship so successful? It's generally a great match. It's hectic. It's a little bit difficult sometimes. You know, they have a great prize table. I think Mike asked earlier on, why doesn't, you know, can they drop the amount of money that they charge? And I think this year, well, not I think, this year we did bring it down. Jim Adame and I talked about this at length, and we brought it down under 300 again. But, you know, the general amount of people, if we say we're not going to have a prize table, but we'll take off X amount of dollars, $50 off the entry fee, they don't want to hear about that, because a lot of sponsors will give us deals. So for our $50, say, per shooter or whatever the number is, we can go buy product that's worth a whole lot more than what the average person can buy on the street. So those prize tables are successful. You know, for some people don't care about it, but the majority of people do. And there are no prize tables in FSEC, by the way, that I'm aware of. I don't remember seeing a prize table at the end of the matches I've been to, including World Shoot.
So Trevor, your job is going to be running the live stream. I'll match direct it. And we'll get Dan on budget, and we'll run an. It can be invitational only, because I don't think USPSA lets you do invitation only matches. But you can earn a slot from having been one of the winners at level 2s or level 3s across the nation, and we'll run our own match that's invitation only and see how it does.
So outlaw match, so we can have limited optics, right?
No,
Hey!
fuck that. Run it under the USPSA set, since we're using USPSA members to come play the USPSA match, and run it like the match that everybody. I don't want to say.
I'm down.
So
Yeah,
easy,
I have a range. I have a range here. We just need to get the equipment. And I'm sure I could sweet talk all the local clubs into lending it for a match like that.
A trucking company to sponsor sending an 18-wheeler to a couple ranges and bringing all the equipment there.
I have some access to that.
So, great idea. Do you think USPSA should have like a couple of big 18-wheel trailers that we load all the equipment in and we move it around, and then basically we could help ranges like the one in Texas that Trevor brought up earlier on? Do you think that's the way we should do that? Do you think that's practical?
I don't think USPSA is currently designed to do anything for their affiliates other than provide a rule book and a classification system.
Okay, well, so let's say that we were looking at something like that. What would you think?
I think you'd have
running big matches or like starting new clubs.
I think you'd have to be extremely careful about that becoming a good old boy network bullshit.
Okay.
No, wait. So I think, honestly, the way you should do it is have Connexes filled up with all the Nationals equipment, and whenever Nationals comes around, you find a range that maybe doesn't have the equipment but has the space, and you fucking load those Connexes up, drop ship them to the range ahead of time, have your Nationals, load them bitches back up, and drop ship them back.
That's kind of what I'm saying.
Were you talking about that, or were you talking
about
more
that's what I was saying. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
He's not talking about helping local clubs. He's talking about for Nationals, because the limitation, if I'm correct, Leighton, the limitation on where you can host Nationals is strongly on who has the equipment to be able to support it.
Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 things, but that's one of the key points. Because it's a lot. You know, building 24 stages of equipment, that's a lot of equipment. A lot of steel, a lot of walls, a lot of fault lines, blah, blah, blah. But nothing that can't be loaded in Connexes and moved.
Do we not have – I was under the impression we had a Connex over at
Yep, we do.
Okay, all right.
Yep. But I'm saying –
But you're saying in theory that could be picked up and sent to, you know, some other club that may not even have a monthly USPSA match like this range near Trevor, but they've got 24 bays, and we can just roll in, rent the range for 2 weeks, pay whatever the rate is, bring our own stuff in, set up.
Rangers don't make a lot of money out of the Nationals, guys. You know, it's. I'm not allowed to say the amount, but it's not a lot. I mean, when I heard the amount, I was like, "That's all they get out of it." It's genuinely not a lot, and that's the problem, which we won't get into tonight, I'm sure. But that's the problem with USPSA trying to have its own, I think it's a great concept. Have its own range, have its own facility, headquarters, building, Hall of Fame. I mean, that would be freaking awesome. That would be like a dream, but I don't know how you'd pay for it. I've looked at it every which way, even with sponsor money, etc. It's too difficult. And then you got the thing of the Nationals in the same place every year. When we planned to have it at Cameo, there was a bunch of people on the West Coast that were going to attend. When we moved it to Talladega, they dropped out because they don't want to travel that far. And then the same thing, people in Florida, we have it down at Universal. We all hate it over on the West Coast because it's a 3-hour time change. That means you're getting up at 2 a.m. to shoot the match. Those things make a difference to people, especially older people like Trevor and so on.
You say older like me?
Oh, dude, that took you a while to catch on to
It
that.
took you a long time.
Gee,
Well, yeah,
He's
'cause
still
I'm
on dial-up,
I'm
guys. Got him
Are you
a break.
watching,
It was the accent, wasn't it? You were trying to figure out what he actually said.
I was like, older like me. I'm pretty sure I'm half everyone's age on this podcast.
Yeah.
Besides
Send
me,
in my
Ben.
smoke
Ben
signals
could be
next
young.
Remind me again who won Dragon Cup between you and I?
Did you get beat by
which
Leighton?
one?
Private
Dragon
score
Cup?
checking right now.
Dragon Cup. I don't recall.
I'm looking it
Yep,
up.
memory
We're gonna
loss
find
is a
out.
sign of getting old.
I know.
Yeah,
Tough,
yeah.
man.
Listen, I've had a lot of concussions. Okay, I've been hitting the head a bunch. It happens.
Really? You? I can't imagine why.
Yeah.
Is that this year's Dragons Cup?
Yep.
Let's see. Trevor Cotter.
I can't remember.
I got you in the overall 20th.
It was Trevor.
Leighton. I don't even see your name anywhere.
Uh-oh. Maybe I got...
You were 22nd, bro. You were 2 spots behind him in the overall. Or did you beat him in open division? Let's check open. Open.
By the way,
Then
that's
you got
something
him.
you guys in your podcast got to explain to people. When you look at overall, it changes the score. There was a discussion this weekend at Area 3 for PCC. Because if you looked at overall, the person that won PCC placed second technically in overall. If you selected PCC, then obviously changed the scores, as we know, and it changed the things. There was some discussion about that online.
Nah, he still beat you in open only. Yes, it does, because if you have somebody that beat, so say you've got, let's just use a 1-stage example. You got everybody shooting a single stage, and the high hit factor on that stage ends up being 13, but that 13 was a production shooter. You're going to have only earned so many points for that. Now, when you go back and now the top winner of that stage is now the open shooter, since you're only doing open shooters, that person now all of a sudden has earned 13 new points they didn't have before. And it changes the structure of the points for that stage. You spread that across 5 stages, and all of a sudden you've got somebody that beat you in the overall but lost to you in your division. So that's one of the reasons that this sport is so hard to be a spectator of. You have to explain to your audience on a consistent basis what the fuck is actually going on for them to be excited about what's actually going on.
Yeah,
that's where if you do that, you do leaderboard by division.
Yeah, you got to get more narrow than that, dude. I think you're thinking too broad. I think you need to pick like a couple people in a couple divisions and try to build a story around that.
So
well,
you could
gotta
do like
remember,
every match
if you do a live stream, you're gonna have if you do a big event where you're gonna do the live stream, then you're gonna have the super squad of those divisions running. That's really who you're gonna be worried about anyway. So you do the leaderboard per division, the super squad's all shooting together. You're going to know who's the best guy. Now, you might have an outlier like Mason Lane, the one year he shot away from everybody, but yeah, or he shot one-handed with a fucking broken arm. That would have made for great TV.
But
Yes,
yeah.
it would.
Well, in marathon racing, they, obviously like they have different screens, different stories that roll through. So when, like the over 25s and over 45s and all that stuff. So they have their own little story. So you just stand there and watch it for about 10 seconds and it rolls to whatever screen's coming up. That's, I think, how that should be done. At Cameo, the plan was, because they had at Cameo, they had TVs in each of the little sun shelters at the back of the stage. And we were going to roll something through on each of those showing the leaderboard, so to speak. Exactly what we're talking about right now. We've been working on something like that.
That was the exciting thing.
Yep. amongst others. So to go back to the range, what are we looking for in nationals? You're also looking for a place where people can do stuff when they're not shooting. That's a big thing. That was big. The big thing was Frostproof. There's just nothing to do down there. Disneyland or Disney World, but it's too far away. And then enough hotels to basically, and reasonable hotels. Somebody earlier on mentioned Vegas. Vegas is dead. There's no chance of us having the Vegas. We used to have it at the club called the Sportsman's Club, but the club got taken over by a group of rifle shooters and so forth, and they hate anything related to action shooting, USPSA, etc., and they chased everybody out of there. Pro Gun Club, which is where Pete's range is, not big enough. I think that range. What is it?
Not to mention the hotels are going to be outrageous.
Yeah, and you can't take guns into hotels, remember, into any of the casino hotels. So you've got to stay other places. The 3-gun guys had a problem with the Railroad Pass Hotel, I believe it was. They found out at 10 o'clock at night that there were a bunch of shooters staying there, and they kicked everybody out the hotel at 10 o'clock at night. That was exciting, dealing with all that. So, yeah, anything with a hotel, casino, no guns. Or if you bring guns, you've got to lock them in their vaults. They bring a cart around to the rooms when they find out you have guns in the room. And they have metal detectors and so forth when you walk down the passageways that pick up if you have guns on you. So you can't, just go in. Don't ask me how I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have it in a place, like Houston, where you have all the hotels you could ever want. You got all the good food. You got 2 international airports within 45 minutes of the range.
Trevor's buying dinner.
You got 19 hotels.
No, we're just going to Trevor's house. It's right around the corner.
Trevor, what's your address?
You could.
What's your address? We'll come stay with you.
No.
Come on,
Nobody's getting my address.
Where's this transparency thing you guys talk about all the time?
I'm not being transparent about where I live. I'll tell you that right now.
I know where you live. Talking about you, Trevor. Hey, Bill, you're not coming to Area 2, are you?
No.
So Trevor has volunteered for something. Trevor, do you want to tell us about that?
Oh, my God. I'm going to
setting it up for you today. It's all in place. I got the dog figured out, everything.
Oh, my God. I'm going to take a canine bite in a bite suit.
Nice.
Yeah, although I'm extremely nervous after YouTube and a bunch of shit. I'm like, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
Hey, Leighton,
I think I can fake the dog out a little bit.
Hey, Leighton, how much does Go Fast Don't Suck have to sponsor to make sure he gets the old shitty pads that don't work very well anymore?
Look at him. He's just a hugger boy. He's just a kisser. He's not that bad. By the way,
people don't know that dog will rip your throat off.
This dog runs 100 meters in about 7 seconds. So you've just got to beat that.
Yeah, no problem. You've been
start training now.
Yeah.
Get your sprints on.
Start training when you were
Listen, I've been doing ladder work. I think I can fake the dog out if I have like a head start,
Yeah. You've never seen a dog catch a ball.
but I am going to video it, and it will get posted, especially if I get injured. So that'll be a plus.
Maybe some decoy sirloin or something.
We'll do a survey. Does he take a heavy suit or one of the lightweight competition suits? So the advantage of the heavy suit is that it's slow. So that's an advantage because he can't run fast. The disadvantage of the heavy suit is that it's kind of boring to watch. The lightweight competition suit, you can use a little speed. So you can imagine that you're running against KC or something, and then we'll send the dog, and then you can run. But here's the thing. The light suit doesn't offer as much protection against the bite, and I kind of don't want to lose a digit or an arm.
Leighton, how much does Go Fast Don't Suck have to sponsor to make sure he only gets the light suit option?
I'll give it to you for free because you're such a good guy. How's that?
I love it. Good luck with your run, bro.
Tell you what what we'll do is we'll put the Go Fast logo on the back.
Actually, he'll get the No Fast All Suck when he's done with that.
If Bill's sponsoring, I better get paid.
The volunteer sport, son. There's no payments yet.
Oh.
All right, guys. I'm out. I gotta get dinner.
Yeah, it's
later,
almost
brother.
midnight here.
Thank you for coming on. Yeah, we only got 13 minutes before Instagram kicks us off here anyway, so I think we should wrap it up. But thank you fellas for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, Ben, get my number from Trevor and call me. I want to talk to you a little bit more.
I don't have Ben's number. I just met Ben.
Oh, you did? All right, Ben.
He assumes we're part of a cabal or something.
It's called social media. There's a way to text message each other.
Ben@berryshooting.com is my email, and anybody can email me that's listening to this if you whatever you think.
I'm sending you all the unsolicited dick pics you could possibly imagine.
Yeah,
is that harassment? Once I'm on the board, can we?
No, not if you like it, Ben. Stop.
That's true.
I can guarantee I won't, but I guess it's the first time for everything.
Oh, shit. All right. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys. All right.
Yeah.
Going on.
See y'all.
Thanks, Trevor.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Bill, that went well.
That was it only got as bad as I thought it might get for the whole time for like 5 minutes. That was kind of interesting.
I know. I thought it was going to be so much worse.
Oh, I thought we were really going to have to get way down into some of this. Dude, I have these guys on to have a talk about what their plans are for being president. And everybody can talk about and ask questions about is the current drama. And I'm like, man, and now this is the chance to come on and ask the questions, and we ended up talking about sponsorship.
That's the fun part, is when you give them the opportunity to publicly talk about it, not in the comments section. Typically they don't show up.
Come show your face. Let's talk about it. So
yeah. But I don't know. Maybe we'll get enough DMs with people saying that they'll do it, that we do another one of these. But in the meantime, dude, this was a pleasure. Thank you again for coming on the show. I appreciate you. Go fast, don't suck, ladies and gentlemen.
Take it easy, brother.
Later, brother. All right, if you made it this long, please follow. And then if you listen to this on the live stream or on the podcast, please go leave a review, like it, share it. It helps me out and helps you out. If you watch it on YouTube, like, subscribe. And we got some exciting stuff coming up. We got some new sponsors coming up that I don't think anybody's going to expect. We also got some new merch dropping here in the next couple of months. I'm working with a couple companies on developing some better merch and some more active merch. So and then we got some pretty big guests coming up. Trying to get a few pretty big people on. So not necessarily big time shooters, but big time influencers in the gun world, as well as some people outside the gun world coming in. So that should be pretty interesting. But if you made it this far, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And if you want to listen to this back, you can go watch it on YouTube. You can go listen to it on your favorite podcast platform. But thank you again for everything, guys. If you're not subscribed. If you're not liking and sharing, please like and share, and please leave a review. It helps me out. And if you're watching this and you're not following my Instagram page, follow if you want to see more stuff like this. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it, and I'll see you on the range.